What's up, guys? Let me just fucking take care of a couple of things here for a second. Let me set this fucking thing here. Why is it not connected? Authorized. Bing, bing, bing. I gotta do a couple of little bangy things here. One more thing here. Boom, 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 boom. Remember that token. There you go. Alright, connect. Voila. Connecting the Twitch chat. Alright, what's up, guys? Hold on a second. Lick my balls. Okay, perfect. Chat's working. Shrink that down a little bit. Good to go. Alright, Mr. Caps will be joining us in a little bit. He's running around, obviously. He was at CEO this weekend. Lots and lots of drama that happened at CEO. The static isn't on the TV. Oh, right now? No, it's not. No, it's not. Bowen, I'm supposed to put it now. But I got it on the main page. I got to switch it over. I've just been too fucking lazy, and it's resized. Like it's kind of a pain in the ass to resize. What's up, Rick Lord? All right, so I'm just gonna quickly run down what we're gonna talk about today. I want to talk about when Caps joins us. I want to hit on his experiences at CEO this past weekend. A lot of subjects have come up. One of them being that. One of the wrestlers was a known pedophile, and I had seen Kenny Omega apologizing, and you know, I'm always hard on Alex Jeb Bailey, but in this particular case, it's kind of hard to be totally hard on him. Should he have done his R&D on the guy? Probably, but it's hard to do. That R&D and find out who people are, but on the side that kinda all it would have took is one Google, and by the fourth time, by the fourth article, it would have basically mentioned that this guy was a known pedophile. And I seen people on the internet trying to kind of justify the guy a little bit. If you've ever been in trouble with the law, like myself, you know that whatever you are finally charged with is usually a plea down from what the original charges were. So, for example, if you turn around and you got a conviction for, let's say, jaywalking, odds are you pleaded to jaywalking, but you had a charge that was much worse. And to avoid going through the whole court system and the trials and all the bullshit, they'll offer you a deal and say, hey, look, just plead to this, and basically it'll just go away. So, the guy was charged with sexual battery. I read the stories on the guy. The guy is Jason, I can't remember his name, Jason something. And apparently, he was banging out a 15-year-old when he was 25, which is pretty fucked up. And the demon guy, exactly, he was a local guy, and it was a dark match. They could have did the background check, and I understand, and again, I'm not trying to jab at Alex or Kenny, to be honest with you, from everything I've heard about the show, it was a good show, and I understand they were trying to bring some local talent because they helped with the ring setup, so they give him the opportunity to do the dark match. On one side, it's a hard fucking situation. This past weekend, I'll be honest, Alex got a lot of hard situations that he's dealt with. But, dealing with the one that we're talking about now, it's hard because, you're trying to help local talent. You would hope, you know, that this guy would be smart enough to know that he would have jeopardized New Japan as well as Alex's brand by even being around kids. And from what I was told, a lot of the local Orlando people that I guess had heard about this guy, exactly the demon guy, the local people were getting up and leaving. And, you know, I mean, that had to have been baffling to these guys. And I'm sure within like 2 minutes of the fuck you chasing, they realized that, wow, this is a really fucked up moment. But, you know, to their credit, you know, Kenny Omega came out right away, made a statement, didn't hide it, didn't sugarcoat it. And because it's something that it's not easily hidden. All the little fake journalists out there jumped on this opportunity right away to go in as if they got the big story of the year. Was it fucked up? Yeah. Was it Alex's fault directly? Not really, but I guess, you know, it's another lesson learned. I kind of want to say a little bit it's karma. You know, I mean, something like that could really cripple your brand, though, which is, you know, luckily for him, I think it's just swept under the rug. Yeah, I'm going to hit on the Daytona situation in a minute, Alberto. But you know, the fact that I had seen people tweeting out to Alex during the event and to Kenny Omega during the event as if like, oh, they went out and they picked a known pedophile up was kind of bullshit. Is it true Jeff Bailey is using Daytona Arena for a couple of years? Rick Lloyd, yes. Okay. You know, guys, what you got to understand, it's America, dude. You know, and I had put out there, and I seen people like Silver Rye, you know, arguing with me, saying, well, not arguing with me directly, but saying in general, these people that say I would just punch people in the face. Well, you got a choice. You know, you've bitched for years that you want this event, the situation with events to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And now that you're getting them bigger, now it's not complaining about the events, it's complaining on what's on the outside of the event. Well, then don't fucking leave the event. You know, don't leave the event. If you're in an area, listen, if I'm in an area, let's say that I hate white people, I'm probably not going to go walking out in the middle of the street saying something stupid. You know, but you know, what's fucked up about it is people are going after Alex. You know, and the fact that it was filled with hillbillies and druggies, motherfuckers, you know, study social studies. It's Florida. Outside of Disneyland, it's toothless fuck country. You know, and you don't, you know, the same could be said about Vegas and Evo. You know, outside of the casinos, the streets are basically fucking a war zone. You know, all you have to do, all you have to do in the end is if you were to turn around and watch the TV show Cops. Watch the TV show Cops. And if the episode is in an area or a state that you're going to an event in, odds are it's a fucked up area. You know, and, you know, I mean, I knew it was a fucked up area. I didn't know how bad it is. But, you know, Florida, Vegas, you know, some of these places are the meth capitals of the world. You know, everybody calling them crackheads. No, they're meth heads. You know, the Confederate flag shit I saw. But I had seen people going after Alex. You know, and now the running joke is Alex for mayor of Daytona. He ain't going to be the mayor for Daytona. You know, he ain't going to do nothing. Nothing is going to change. The city is not going to turn around and say, let's protect a bunch of gamer dudes from the world outside of this venue. It's not their job. You know, I mean, you're going to get it. Listen, if you come in the streets of New York and walk in the daytime, ain't nobody going to fuck with you. At nighttime, you turn down the wrong block with the wrong people, you might get fucked with. You know, but to put in, and I give Alex props. Listen, I'm not calling him a liar. I'm just telling you he's blowing smoke out his ass when he tells you that he's going to talk to people as if something's going to happen to make it better next year. That's why I want to prepare you this year and say what you saw might actually get worse. Because, see, now that it's a repeating event, some of those toothless hillbillies are going to be like, oh, y'all are going to come back now, huh? All right, no problem. We'll have more Confederate flags waiting for you. But it's going to be the same shit. So, you know, when I tell guys to stop being pussies, I don't mean if you're a lone black man walking in an area where there's a bunch of toothless rednecks walking around saying they hate Negroes, till you turn around and say fuck you and punch one in the mouth. Now that's just being stupid. But if you're confronted, don't go running back to Jeb Bailey. Jeb Bailey can't do nothing for the motherfucker on the street. You need to handle your own shit. And that's the problem with the FGC. You're slowly becoming complacent to letting everybody else handle your problems. You know, I mean, I personally, from what I've heard, everybody said the event was great. With the exception of the outside area. Too many Confederate flags. Well, guess what? You're in the South, dude. Get used to it. You know, and again, we get back to this crying on Twitter. Like Dark Engine just said. Crying on Twitter doesn't do nothing. If you get confronted, knock a motherfucker out. That's all I can tell you. Don't go running away. You know, and I'm sorry, look, if you feel I'm invading your safe space saying this, if you like to dress up as a fucking mascot and run around the town, you're gonna get fucked with in that town. You know, and if you can diffuse the situation, obviously I say diffuse it. You know, but if you cannot diffuse the situation, then you better learn to deal with the situation head on and don't let the motherfuckers push you around. It's just like Georgia, Mississippi, Tennessee. You'll see Confederate flags everywhere. Exactly. For some reason, you know, they're proud of their flag. You know. But, you know, it's definitely an issue that as much as you go to Alex to deal with, he can't do nothing. Even if he became the mayor of Daytona, he can't do nothing. You can't wipe out a city so you guys could have a video game tournament and feel safe outside the place. You know, and that's just a fact. Now, one of the other things that, and I'm not mentioning names, apparently there was a player in the injustice community who was sexually assaulted. Well, I wouldn't say assaulted. Accosted is a proper word. And it's not what you think. You know, we always, you know, for the past couple of years, we've been hearing about girls have been fucked with in tournaments, and, you know, guys have been fucking around with them. This particular situation was the other way around. This was a girl who made unwanted advance to a player in the injustice community, and even cost the guy his girl. So again, I guess, and it was sad because I had seen the tweets from the girl, and it was pretty much like, oh, I was just playing around, I was just fucking around, it was nothing serious. Well, let me ask you a question. If I went to an event and I started pulling my cock out and rubbing it around behind girls' backs and say I was just fucking around, would they be cool with that? I don't know. I don't know if she was ugly. Hold on a sec. I don't know what the girl looked like, but if had I done that, I would have gotten locked up. I would have been made a mockery. So just because you're a girl in the FGC, it doesn't mean that you can, it doesn't mean that you can just turn around and fucking do what you want because you think every man in the FGC is just some thirsty nerd, as she called them all. But it's the problem that it's not a matter of, oh, you're a man, you're strong, you can't get raped or assaulted bullshit. What it comes down to is this guy said, no, I don't want you to give me lap dances or any of that shit. And she took it upon herself basically to say, fuck you, I'm going to do it anyway. And, I had spoken to this gentleman, and he had mentioned to me that, like, his girl broke up with him over this. Now obviously I told him, I said, not for nothing, there's got to be some other issues as far as your girl, just to let something like this. I said, it ain't like you fucked around. And he says, no, she a little insecure. But it ain't right for guys to do, it ain't right for girls to do. Now, hold on a second, because I got to see what's going on with my my partner in crime here. Let's see. Motherfucker, pending request. Any corona? No. Contact. No, okay. So, I mean, it's like, in the end, look, man, if you're a guy or a girl, it don't fucking matter. Keep your hands to yourself. If they're not your girl or not your guy or whatever, whatever boat you're floating around in and whatever you're trying to stick your dick in or whatever vagina you're trying to get, whatever you're doing, make sure the other person is actually into you or into it, and don't just assume. So, I mean, between those three things, from what I hear, the event went really well. I mean, I saw some of the opening, the top 8 walkouts, and that, that was kind of cool. You had, like, the Infiltration doing the Val Venus, the $1 Million Man fucking do. Some of them kind of sucked. Some of them kind of sucked ass, to be honest with you. But, that's, nobody's a real fucking wrestler anyway. For Injustice, Tweety had his revenge on King with his money match, and of course the big match, which was Mr. Talk Shit About Women losing to Forever King's girl and drowning in pools after making his statement. I'm going to try, listen, I'm going to try, Tekken Boss Brian, I'm going to try to make CEO next year. A friend of mine hooked me up with the buddy pass system on the airline, so I could pretty much go anywhere now. It's just a matter of freed up time for work. I wanted to go this year, as did Melanie. We wanted to all go down altogether. We originally tried to get a panel. Of course, Mr. Jet Bailey denied us. Like I knew that was going to happen. And he did almost win back to back. I like Tweety. The problem I find with Tweety is, again, and I told him this when he was going through that whole Twinkie thing and all the other shit about him being overweight. And, I talked to him a little bit, and he says, look, I know I'm overweight. And I told him, I said, look, man, the only way you could stop that shit is if you take the bullet out of the gun. I said, lose the weight, and they can never say nothing to you again. I said, I know it's a pain in the ass. Shit, I go to the gym all the time. But he's a good player. He's a solid young player, up and coming. I hate to admit it, I'm starting to see Sonic Fox fall off. I haven't seen him winning much these days. Just saying, I could be wrong, but I predicted a fall off once he started going to college. But overall, from everything I've heard, everybody liked the event. Let me see where Mr. Caps is. Can I patch him in? I gotta do that. That's what I should do. Let's see. Can I make a regular phone call? Let me check something out here, guys. Bear with me 1 second. I gotta really fuck with that more. Yeah, I think Caps is having issues with Skype today. Another thing that drama-wise that had happened. Hey, listen, I think Wolf Crone is a dick. He's a cocky little prick fuck. But he got accused of cheating, and everybody and their mother jumped on him right away. And it turned out to be that he didn't, that the guy was just bullshitting. And again, this goes hand in hand with the FGC and the fact that they're always quick to jump the gun. Whether it's calling Richard Lewis an alt-right fucking Nazi. Everybody's a Nazi. Everybody's a cheat unless you're part of the cool club. Then you're a good guy. But everybody went after this guy as if he was a super cheat. Like, honestly, from what they said that he had, his next match, he had invited the guy to play casuals, beat him in casuals, and then jumped up and told the fucking, the pool runner that, yep, I beat him, and wound up, the guy started a whole shit storm. And I'm saying to myself, look, I know this guy's a dick, but he is good at the game. And the fact that he's actually good at the game, I really don't see him doing something like that, nor needing to do something like that. But even I will admit at first, I was like, wow, if that's true, I'd ban this dick from everything. But in the end, it turned out not to be true. The guy was bullshitting. And, of course, nothing will happen to the guy that bullshit. But I didn't hear much about thefts. I heard something about somebody's bag randomly getting left somewhere. Or supposedly falling off a truck or some shit like that. And I'm going, all right, you know what? That sounds like bullshit, but, I don't know. So, going back to the first thing, which is the wrestler thing. I understand people were mad about it. I would have been offended. I would have been pissed off as a motherfucker. I lost my meth kit there. I picked up 2 meth kits there. I would have been offended definitely would have been offended. I would have been pissed. it's hard to blame Alex. It's hard to blame Kenny Omega. You know, you're dealing with local talent. You're only giving them dark matches. And that's another thing. Somebody, you know, the security, I saw that tweet about the gun. I want to know who the person was that decided to bring a gun to the event. And why he would bring a gun to the event. I know it's a conceal and carry area. But, you know, the Cap Cops and Bandai Pass lost. Yeah. You know, but it's sad because somebody would actually sit there consciously and think bringing a gun to the event, good idea. Now, it's a 50-50. I gotta be kind of on both sides. Guy could just be, you know, listen, you new age FGC guys won't even tell a guy to go fuck themselves on the street. You know, but Final Dark Knight, let me tell you this. The dude with the gun was compliant. Exactly, the demon guy. He brought it, but when they said, you know, not to bring it, he put it to the side. Now, if somebody else had gotten a gun in there without being detected, and that guy that brought the gun compliantly was armed, and God forbid something did happen, then y'all be saying, well, man, thank God that guy came there with a gun. You know, and you know, and that's why, you know, how fucked up people are saying that it is. You know, most people that are licensed to conceal and carry are not fucking idiots. They might act like idiots at times, you know, but, you know, contrary to belief, for every person that has a conceal and carry, and you look at how many people actually have shot people up and did fucked up things, most of them are not willing to pull it out. You know, and like Final Dark Knight, the guy was compliant. He said, you know, you could take it, you could tag it, you could do whatever. I just brought it, you know, because that's what I do. You know, and it's like, you know, oh yeah, I definitely think Evo has to step their game up. Evo definitely has to step up their game. On many levels. On the security level, on the show level. You know, I mean, Alex put together a great show. Now, granted, again, I don't know Alex's financials. I don't know Alex's financial situation. But I'm telling you now that I know some of the prices to rent venues and convention centers. They're not cheap. I don't know if Alex lives with that you got to lose money to make money. I don't think Alex made bank on this event. You know, to bring the wrestlers, to have that all done, to get the venue like this, to get the hotel rooms, the blocks of the hotel rooms at prices. Everything cost money. You know, the crew that set up the ring. You know, I'm sure he looked to cut corners where he could. And that's probably why this pedophile Pete wrestler was able to finagle his way in. Because from what I understand, they were using local wrestling talent to set up the ring. And kind of as a little bonus, hey, we got, you know, some dark matches you guys want to get some practice in. I hope he didn't, but I believe he lost money again. Yeah, you know what? I don't know. Again, I don't know Alex's total allowance from daddy and mommy and all that. Ain't none of my business. But I think he's taken an L on a lot of his events. I think he does it. You know, in fact, no, I know he does it for that bragging rights. To be that guy, to be the one that does the event that goes above and beyond. Everybody said Combo Breaker this year was phenomenal. And then everybody was like, well, what's Alex going to do? Well, Alex brought his A+ game versus his A game. You know, the wrestling thing is nice. The event. I mean, I'm not gonna bitch, but I mean, I do got to say one thing. Like, I've been to other events with other TOs where people were bitching that there was no tablecloths on the tables. You know, Alex didn't do that, but nobody said none of that. That's where the FGC gets selective of their critiquing. Oh, well, this guy didn't have fresh, free water. You know, and it's like there was no tablecloths on the setups or nothing covering the setups. It was just wood tables with setups on it. And with all the money that he's probably shelled out to put this together, you would think the presentation would be a little bit better. That's my critique, but it's, you know, that's my critique for the simple fact that if you're going to put out all this money and make this event look nice, I want it to, you know, I personally would be like, no, I want something there. I don't want them to see fucking Jim Loves fucking Joe on the fucking table carved in the wood. I want it covered. I want it to look presentable. That was the one thing I saw that I could say something about, and that's about it. I heard, you know, pools ran behind at times. You know, little things like that. But that is the stuff that happens at every event. Every single event that happens at. Yeah, Texas ran in the bathroom at Texas Showdown. I remember that. You know, it's ironic, though, because, like I said, with Alex, I think Alex took a hit again. I don't know. I try to figure out some of these TOs. You know, they all have game plans. You know, I look at Rick. I try to figure out, is Rick doing Combo Breaker again? I know he moved to San Francisco. He's working with Twitch. He's in close with a lot of the TOs and a lot of the companies that are dealing with the money. Is it a conflict of interest to be running an event at the same time, like, say, becoming a premier event, but working for Twitch, but running the event? So, you know, there's a lot of red tape that I'm sure he's going through. As far as Alex goes, I think Alex is looking to sell. I think he's looking to sell his event, hoping, like, a company's going to come in and offer him, you know, $1 million or whatever. You know, and any TO that doesn't sell their event is a fucking idiot. Now, I know all these guys, you know, hit me up private talking about, you know, oh, man, loyal to the FGC, grassroots. No, fuck you. If somebody offers me $1 million, I'm rolling out. If somebody offers me $1 million to stop doing this show, trust me, tomorrow the show will not go on. I will take my $1 million and disappear. You know, and somebody like Alex, who has put in a lot of work and a lot of money, I can't see him not looking to sell an event if somebody came knocking on his door. But, you know, now speaking of the events, you know, it's hard to sell because how do you sell an event? What do you sell? You rent the equipment from Gamer Generation. So, you know, if I pay you $1 million for your event, the equipment don't come with it. The venue doesn't come with it. The system setups and stations and stage setups and all that don't come with it. All that you're going to be buying is a name, which would be CEO. You know, and what is that worth? Exactly, the brand, the name. But now, somebody like Alex, you know, the minute Alex sold, if he did, you know, and again, you know, understand, guys, I'm speaking hypotheticals here. If Alex had sold, you know, he'd be the first motherfucker on Twitter going, ha-ha, motherfuckers, I made $1 million, I'm out of here. So, at that point, the brand would be dead. You know, because somebody else would have their hands in it. You don't know what you're going to get. It's not going to be the same thing. So, really, at the end, how do you sell an event like that? That brand? Because the brand really is based around Alex. You know, Big E's events are based around Big E. And it's like, Rick's events are based around Rick and Keats. So you really can't sell the brand because the brand doesn't have a large enough reach to doesn't have a large enough reach or audience to garner somebody to pay so much money for it. I mean, I know damn well I would give the best event besides Evo, excluding Evo, no event would get offered more than $100,000. $100,000 would be my top paying price for an event. Because if you look at the money they make when everything's said and done, listen, I'm going to tell you straight. How much do you think Evo is worth? It's hard to put a monetary value on an event. It really is, for the simple fact that putting a value on it means that you would garner or you would gain X amount of profit off the event. I don't know enough about Evo. I don't think Alex made a profit either, Morton. But I don't know. Between the sponsorships and the money that comes in, I would say the event is between 500 and $1 million, somewhere in between. I know that's a large jump in price, but somewhere between 500 and $1 million. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Evo Japan, from what I read somewhere in an article, cost them $1.5 or $2.5 million more. And I think, put the link in there. I think it cost them like $1 million, $1.5 million. I think they were in the hole. So it's Evo last year lost 1.2. There you go, 1.2 million. It was a projected event that never been done. And the problem is it's still 1.2 that they lost. And I don't know. And again, I'm not trying to rip into Markman or anybody else, but doesn't he travel around trying to help and do all this magical stuff? Like, how do you lose 1.2 million? Again, I don't want to hear this bullshit that you got to lose money to make money. Because you really don't. And it's like, I don't remember what the turnout was for Evo Japan as far as the numbers. I think it was like not much. I want to say maybe 3,000 to 4,000 showed up. And if I remember, I believe it had no venue fees at all. But I only believe they had like 3,000 to 4,000 people show up. I don't see Evo Japan 2019. I really don't see it happening. There was 2.2. All right, so there was 2.2 for that. But see, they didn't have any of the American Injustice or Mortal Kombat. A lot of these other games didn't do the math. Even if they charged the venue fee, they'd still lose money. Exactly. You're not gonna. That's why, like, if I recall, was the numbers about 6,000 that showed up supposedly for CEO? So because if we do the math on that, I believe the numbers were around 6,000. So I'm just gonna say 7,000 people showed up for CEO, and that's giving a lot. I really don't think. I mean, does anybody have a good idea or closer to an accurate number of what showed up to CEO this year? 7,300. Okay, so let's clear this out. 7,300 at $100 a head. at $100 a head. That's 700. Now again, I'm making everybody pay $100. I believe it was about, I think it was $50 for spectator. I don't know how much the entrance fees were, but you know that comes out to $730,000 overall. I don't know what the convention charged, but you know it'll come down to this. So let's see. We're gonna go and all right. Okay, so the average price of a convention center is between $300 and $500 an hour. That's the average price. So we're going to go high on that, and we're going to go 24 times 500. But we're going now let's drop it down. We're going to drop it down to 300. So $300 times 24 equals $7,200 a day. Times 3. Well, actually, it's times 5. So that's $36,000 right there. Now, again, yeah, that probably charged a lot. If you own the convention, if you owned a convention, it would be worth buying the seat. Yeah. Okay, so here's the final numbers. So we got Mr. Wiz, Evo Japan. Wow, Evo's fucking numbers were pretty fucking low. No, not 5,000. I'm doing a small convention center. I'm not doing a big one. I don't know if they will. Well, you know what? Let me just do this. Let me just go Google it. How about that? Daytona Convention Center prices. No, that's the fucking hotel. Ocean Center. Here we go. The Ocean Center. Exhibitors, chats, virtual tour, planners. Downloading for me. Testimonies about us. Contact. Food service, catering, hallway. It's a nice looking place, which is kind of funny because, like, when you think about it, the place is a nice looking place, but you know, goes to Gutex Pass. I'm just listen. My whole point is, at the end of the day, everybody likes to claim how these TOs are making bank. They're not. You know, they're not making bank. Their brands are not worth the money they think they're worth. And they're basically doomed to do this forever. It was a super nice area. The numbers I care about is the viewership. And Bifu, you know what? You should care about the numbers. You know, VXG money is paid out, man. And yeah, Gutex did get a nice chunk of that money. You know, was the event a success? I can't say yes and no. I will say no on the fact that, you know, again, the FGC has shown me how quickly they'll turn on somebody. Now, they didn't totally 180 on Alex, but they kind of were like, yo, we're not coming to your event next year. if it's in this area again. And he says he's going to try to do something, but he can't do shit because he's locked into a contract. I mean, at the end of the day, he's locked into a contract. He doesn't have a choice. What's up, Thumbreaker? He doesn't have a choice because I don't know if he's locked in for 2 or 3 years. If it's 1 more year, it's all right. He's not going to clear up all the rednecks. The Confederate flags are not going to disappear. And players are either going to have to deal with it. And, it kind of broke my heart. And again, I seen it more from the NRS community than anything else in anime guys. Saying to, saying to players that he's going to have a meeting and discuss gives you a false sense of hope that somehow he's going to be able to change the rhetoric. And sadly, it's not going to change. And I feel bad, because like I said, I told people, listen, I'm not telling you to just go punch a redneck in the face. But, all the anti-Trump rhetoric out there has nothing to do, or the Trump supporters have nothing to do with this. The rednecks were there before Trump was in office. Racism was there before Trump was born. It ain't going to change, except that don't sit there and stop living because you feel that a certain group of people are threatening to you. It's just, you got to accept it. And I say, listen, somebody gets in your face, confronts you, puts you in a situation, punch him in the fucking face. I'll give all the young black men in the FGC that are not quote-unquote thugs, let me give you a little advice. The average white guy gets scared of black men because of the color of your skin. That's a fact. Alright? 2 black guys walking down the street, the same, coming towards a white guy, the white guy will go across the street. That's a fact. Because he's afraid you're going to do something. It goes to Gutex. Yeah, you're right, in a sense. But on the flip side, it's like, I hate seeing weak people. Weak people bother the shit out of me. Final Dark Knight, I wouldn't say they're uneducated. They're conditioned. People are conditioned to racism. Racism isn't something that you get a lesson in school and you either are or you aren't a racist. It's the way you're raised that either makes you racist or not. Listen, I've been called a racist 1,000,000 times. I mean, I've been doing this show now for 7 years, and I've been called every phobic, every racist thing that you could possibly think of about me, and I've never given a shit. I don't care about it. I don't care what you think about me. I got friends from all different walks of life. Straight, gay, trans, black, white, blue, purple, even a pink bitch. But I don't put people in categories based off of, like, I don't have black friends. I got friends and I got enemies. And I got acquaintances. Somewhere along the line, every person I come across has been put into one of those categories. Whether you want to be or not, you're in one of those categories. Now, as far as what you want to stick your dick in, I don't give a flying fuck. And Isaac, see, that's the thing. You know, I'm sorry for the players that I feel bad for the players that were fucked with, and maybe again, you know, in future events that you travel to, read a little bit about the town that you go to. You know, because Jeb Bailey should have had this tournament near Miami. People are more tolerant. You know what? But the problem is now you're talking about you can be a bigot and still be nice to people. I'm a bigot. If that's what you're gonna say, I'm a bigot. You know, but I fuck with everybody. I'm a bigot to everybody. I hate white people. I can't stomach white people. You know, but the point is that for me personally, you're in one of three categories. You're a friend, you're an enemy, you're an acquaintance. There's nothing else. You know, and the FGC has become my feelings should be more important. You know, I'm certainly not a liberal. Oh, I hate black pepper. I love black pepper. Actually, no, I like red pepper better. And exactly, Nimbus, he can't move the event. At the end of the day, we could all talk all the smack we want. He cannot move the event. He's locked into a contract for at least 2, maybe 3 years. You know, and because of that, he's got to basically do super duper damage control. And right now, I know he's feeling the heat because a lot of people said, well, I'm not coming back to this event again. You know, listen, I'm not going to lie. Look, Philadelphia, where Big E holds his events, is a rough fucking neighborhood. That if I walked down the street and walked around like a coddled anime guy, motherfucker try to rob me, without a doubt, if I was by myself. Exactly. If you walk around Little Havana wearing a furry suit, you're getting fucked with. You know, the world is not the free utopia that you want it to be. Shit, yo, let me tell you something. If I was down in Daytona and I saw Sonic walking up the block in his fursuit, I might rob his ass. You know, because he ain't doing nothing. I'll come in a big black fox suit and rob him. And now people are going to go, why is it got to be a black fox? I just picked black out of the fucking randomness. But Miami would be nice. But it is mad expensive. You know, it is mad expensive. Orlando is nice. Orlando's mad expensive. But see, you're going into areas, well, Miami's a little less, but like Orlando is tourist neighborhood. So every time you went outside there, you were greeted by Mickey Mouse. So you didn't see the true Florida. You know, and there's a lot of guys in this chat that are from Florida. And they know. You know, Miami has its side too. Nah, I'm robbing Sonic Fox. If I see Sonic Fox on the street, shit, I might go first to 10 Coke Boys. I might rob Sonic Fox on the street. Nah, I'm not topping out. You know, the sensitivity has gotten bad. You know, and I always listen to the NRS community and follow a lot of the guys on Twitter. And I don't know, man. They're into hugging each other, and it's all this bro shit, and I don't know, man. It's gotten pushy. It's not interesting. I'm sorry, you know, for the guys who are fans of Injustice 2, the game is fucking boring. And when top players lie I won't put names out there, but they outright lie and say they like the game only because Ed Boon might see the tweet. They all hate the game. So, if these are the players that are saying the game is good to the developers, and the developers are hearing it from them, they're buying it. And they think, wow, everybody likes the game, but the real talk is they hate the fucking game. And you're right, Ghost to Gutex Pass. The world isn't for me no more. That's why, like I said, I'm slowly fading. I'm slowly fading. But it's like I can't walk out. I can't walk out without doing a couple of things. One of the things I want to do is make a better impact on the FGC. I've given money away. I've done shows. I've competed. I've done all that. I want to do one more thing. I'm thinking of maybe doing an event in New York. I'm thinking about it. I know I could be Don Johnson. Actually, I'd be doing all the coke. They really do. They really do need to take their own accountability for situations that they allow themselves to be in. And, I understand, in the new age of people, everybody feels like they should be able to go wherever they want to go. Back in the 70s and the 80s, when I was working for the phone company, it was straight up mandatory that if any white tech went above 125th Street, that they had to be escorted by another black tech. And that's the thing that people don't seem to understand. Now, does that sound fucked up? Yeah. There really is. It's hard to, you know what? I'm not trying to save the FGC. I do want to do an event, Beefu. I mean, I definitely do. I think I can get, I could secure a decent venue. I mean, I got contacts, obviously, that I don't call on. But I think before I, totally do I'm out of here, peace out, guys. I mean, because, guys, I'm pushing 50. And you're not getting a safe space in any city you go to unless you're in, either San Francisco or, Portland, Oregon or Seattle. You can have safe spaces there. Anything on the East Coast, there ain't no safe space. But I do think I want to do an event before I split out. It's just a matter of money, timing, placing, all that other good shit. Isaac, that was, we all know I don't get along with Alex Jabali that well. We're socially jabbing at each other here and there. I don't hate the guy. The guy never did nothing to me. But even I was like, yo, really? You motherfuckers are going after this guy as if he could stop racism? I actually was going to talk to Cary Tagawa today. I was actually going to give him a call. There is no, Daytona is a sundown town. Exactly. Exactly. He's going to speak to the mayor, and the mayor's going to go like, what do you want me to do? Get rid of the people when you have your event? We'll put them in an internment camp, and then after the fucking event, we'll let them out? But it's going to be hard for Alex if people start not supporting his event just because of what goes on the outside. And again, I don't want to call this karma, but I am a believer in karma. And it's like, I think after Alex kind of jabbed that whole final round thing and kind of, you know, gave it to Larry about his event the year before, that this kind of came back to bite him in the ass. I mean, between that and Pedo Pete, the wrestler, those are two big things, you know, for a TO to have to swallow. The fact that you got a pedophile wrestling and the locals realize it, so that's going to hurt your local branding. Because now the people are going to be like, the local people know who this chasing whatever his name is, who this guy is, obviously, because they obviously taunted it. So that's going to hurt your brand next year for your locals, and your people from out of town are upset about the racism and the blatant fucking Confederate flags. So that's going to hurt your branding for people coming the following year. You know, and it's a learning experience for the man, and he's going to have to hold this L. I feel bad for Kenny Omega, because, like, I don't know, from when I watched Kenny Omega come into the whole wrestling thing and in the gaming thing, I thought it was cool. But, you know, I knew he would have to get involved a little bit more. Thumbbreakers. They had a wrestler named Chasing Rain, who is a local wrestling teacher for school, and they had him help set up the ring and everything for CEO. And, you know, I guess as a consolation prize on top of, you know, helping set up the ring, they said, you know, you guys want to do some dark matches at the event. And he did. And then when the crowd, from the local crowd, saw it, they realized that the teacher, whose name is Chasing Rain, is a guy who was a convicted pedophile. Chasing Rants, that's it. Chasing Rants. In fact, let me do it right now. Hold on. Let me go to this. So this is the guy here. Chasing Rants is a registered as a sexual offender, positive identification. So this guy basically came out and wrestled for a dark match. Now, again, to their credit, they probably didn't have time to do a background check on the guy. The guy set up the ring, you know, so it was probably just a matter of thumb breakers. Yeah, that's the part of it that's bad, you know. And you know, again, I don't know. Yeah, Kenny is offering refunds apparently. I'm Phoenix Ace, baby. Basically, battery sex is what he pleaded to. I got the whole story, which was, he was 25 years old. Of course, the girl was 15, and she was a wrestling fan or whatever, and he was banging her a couple of times, and then apparently the girl's mom had found a diary And in the diary, she mentioned that she was banging around with this guy, and he was giving her weed and booze, the usual. And then, you know, once the mother caught wind of it in the diary, she went to the cops. And, you know, he gave the whole speech. I was going to wait until she was 18, but he banged her out. So he definitely banged her out. So, you know, battery, sex. I forgot the definition of it again. I'm not a fucking detective. Sorry, goes to Gutex Pass. I haven't done that. Now, listen, I'm a 50-year-old man and I'll bang out a 25-year-old girl. But I won't fuck with a girl under... if the girl can't drink, I don't want to fuck with her. You know, and it's... I can't fucking side with you on that, man. You know, I mean, especially 15, dude. Nah. You know, and again, they had no way to know that. You know, because I mean, if I recall, and I'm not too sure, isn't Kenny Omega a Florida-born dude though? I know he's in New Japan Wrestling, but isn't he like from Florida? But not peeing in the champagne room. You lie. I saw that video of you at VXG trying to pick up those younger girls. They were real young, like really young. Yeah, wrong guy you got there. I was too drunk to pick up chicks. You know, but yeah, the guy, basically the untelevised matches used in to prime the crowd. Yeah, so they were. I thought Kenny was from Canada. Maybe he is. I don't know. That's what I'm asking. He's Canadian. All right. I thought he was from Florida. My bad. So you know, even then, how are these guys supposed to know that? You know, how are these guys supposed to know? You know, that the guy that set up the ring, like, you don't do a back. Listen, if that's the case, every TO better start doing a background check on every person that does brackets at a tournament, because I don't want to get some guy that's been convicted of something doing the brackets. You know, and I don't know, dude. I mean, for the wrestling side, yeah, I think I would have did the background check. You know, especially if you're starting to get into the area of promoting wrestling. You know, with all the steroids and all the other shit going on, you know, and all the other shit that can go wrong, you really do want to, I guess, make a pedo checklist, like Virgil just said, just to see who you're dealing with. James, you have the video on YouTube. Those girls are like maybe 17, if that. But hey, I like to say you taking sidestepping that topic. Props. Listen, dude, I ain't banging out nothing under my age. You know, Pedo Pete the wrestler is the one you got to look for. No, I didn't talk about Kuroda yet because that was another one. You know, speaking of pedophilia, you know, he's a Street Fighter 3's a Q god. And apparently, from what I read, he's been depressed a lot, suicidal for the last couple of years. And basically the same premise as Pedo Pete over there. He was on Twitter and started to have, I guess, a relationship with a 15-year-old girl. And the mother found out and he had gotten arrested. Actually, I don't know if the age is 14 or not. I've heard mixed things. I've heard some people say the age is actually 13 in Japan. But it's consent 13, but sex for 18. Yeah, the Daigo movie's probably a done deal. You know, but, you know, this guy apparently has been going through some crazy depression. And, you know, the Japanese market is, you know, the Japanese society is something I don't really understand too well. 12 and 16, all right. the age of consent is 9. Get the fuck out of here. These fucking people, man. I don't give a shit what your culture says. 9 don't know shit. So they arrested the guy, which I'm sure is going to throw him in much more of a psychotic depression. But apparently a lot of the guys, the Japanese players, have been trying to get him out of his funk. And I don't know, maybe he thought, you know, hooking up with a 15-year-old would get him out of his funk. Well, that's fucked up, though. But at the end, it's still wrong. You know, I don't care if he's going through psychotic episodes or not. You know, again, 15, you know, he's obviously an older dude. Yeah, Daigo basically did fail him. You know, I'm not going to lie. Daigo failed him. You know, this is something that, you know, this is a perfect example of people being friends to a point. You know, even if it wasn't sex, he slid in her DMs, touched the titty. That's from what the report said. Exactly. Got the CEO kitty van outside the venue with plushies and candy. You know, I can't sympathize with the guy, what he did. But, you know, it's knowing that the guy has actual real mental issues. And actually, from what I was reading, there's real mental issues in the family that I kind of do feel bad in the aspect of I could see whatever mentally he did, it drew him to that point of trying to touch 15-year-old girls' titties. But the one thing that he did say that people noted that kind of caught my attention, and I've said this to people over and over, and I always get hate for it. He said, I wish I didn't waste my life. He said, I wish I didn't waste all my life playing video games. I got nothing for it. And, you know, he regrets gaming in general and says he should have socialized instead. No, the furry community doesn't have nothing to do with pedophilia. They're just fucking weird. But I mean, I do feel bad for the guy in that aspect. Like, you know, I've told guys over and over and over again, and people just want to say, "Oh, you're a bitter old man. You're angry," because I don't follow the same narrative of other OGs like Alex Vi, or, you know, any of these other people out there that are saying, you know, live your dream and go for your dream. No, I live in the real world. And the real world tells me, have a backup plan for when your dream fails. Because even if you achieve your dream is only a limited amount of time and then it's over. You know, baseball players, basketball players don't play basketball till they're 65 years old. They got between 5 and 15 years of playing it. You know, but if you don't build something off of this, you're never going to achieve nothing. You will become the Walmart greeter. And I don't care what your education is, even if you turn around and have a degree in something. Nobody wants to hire an older guy because you're going to come in at a higher price. So, whatever. Let's just say you got a degree in marketing. And you said, you know, I got my degree, but I want to follow gaming. And I'm going to do gaming for the next 10 to 15 years. So, by the time you got your degree, you're 24, 25 years old. Now you spend the next 10 years gaming. You're 35 years old. Who wants to hire a 35-year-old marketing guy who's going to want to be paid at top pay but doesn't have nothing but a piece of paper that says you graduated school? You know, exactly. Even NBA players will end up broke, a lot of them. And everything that I try to tell people where I get pushback from, oh, you're just hating it because we're gamers. Dude, listen, I've been gaming for fucking over 40 years. If there was a way for everybody to make money, it would have happened already. You know, and whatever money you're making, like, you know, people say, well, look at Sonic Fox. You know, look at fucking Infiltration. There are rarities to the system. You know, we can go back to the Billy Mitchells, you know, who are broke motherfuckers but had all these world records before they were proven stolen or whatever. You know, or Fatality, you know, who was making all the money. 78% of the NFL players end up broken under financial stress. You know, and you know, you're not even, but see now, with all what you're saying, Morton, all these players are millionaires and then they end up broke. FGC guys never become millionaires to end up broke. You ain't done shit but lost about $15 on your local MK machine to small Chino kid. Oh, God, that means fucking now I know who goes to Gutex past this. You know, Billy had a contingency plan, though. He at least was smart about it. You know, he did. You know, a lot of these players, if you know how to handle your money and invest correctly, you don't have to end up broke. Yeah, but you know what? Now Billy lost all his credibility, so now he ain't got shit again. But he's got his restaurant business. I thought he was in Daytona, actually, but I could be wrong. I know he's down in Florida. But you know, like, even like I noticed, they're trying to push this WWE narrative inside the FGC. Even like with the Val Venus dancing of Infiltration and stuff, which was funny and it was cool and it was witty, but it seems too choreographed. You know, and again, I'm gonna do one of these moments. I'm gonna pat myself on the back. You know, when I had gone after Triforce during the MK9 days, when PL was playing for Triforce, and I put the bounties on Triforce, and the MLG stuff, and the Cantaloupe videos at Final Round, you know, I had noticed something, and it was kind of funny because there was a streamer out there in the MK9 community that revised how the whole Final Round thing and it was all going to play out. And it was stuff that I choreographed, but at the same time, I kept it real enough that you really thought I was just being some dick. You know, and I tried to make it as natural as possible. You know, I mean, I've seen guys come out wearing hockey masks and talking shit to people each other in videos. I've seen the one video where they tried to pretend they were like ISIS and stole Mewtwo King's controllers. Yes, goes to Gutex. Peace out, man. You know, but it was like they're forcing it too much. You know, when I did it, it was at a time in Mortal Kombat that it felt natural. You can't do that in the Injustice scene. You know, I can't, you know, seeing some of these players, like, talk to each other and hug it out, you know, and guys in the NRS community, like, well, what's wrong with being friends? Nobody wants to see that. Like, you don't understand. Those racist rednecks that you guys can't stomach, that are sitting in Daytona, calling you guys all the fucking bad words as you pass by and throwing ice at you, that's the audience you need to impress. You can't run away from them. You need them. If you want this to grow to the level that you think it can grow, that is your potential market. Because those are the same ignorant motherfuckers that watch a car drive around in circles 500 times. So they got that attention span. But your market is them. Their kids. You know, and now you might say, well, oh, you know what it's like? It's like, where was I? Something was happening. Somebody had told me about marketing. Oh, they were marketing something to trans people. And it was something, I can't remember what it was. It was specific for the trans people that they were trying to market this item. And, you know, the item could go to any group, but they really wanted to market it to the trans item, to the trans community. And I said to the person, I'm like, well, you're not going to sell. I said, you're just wasting your time. And they go, well, what do you mean? And I said, well, there's only X amount of trans people in the world. Whatever that number turns out to be, you're only going to grab a small margin of those people. Even if you grab them all, it's not enough to make you a millionaire. You know, and I said, and now let's be realistic, you're not going to grab it all. You're marginalizing your market audience by grouping it to a small niche of society. And, you know, as much as those rednecks are assholes, they are potential viewers. If they got to stop doing meth for a day to pay their cable bills so they can watch you, they'll watch you if you're entertaining to them. But, you know, what's funny is the biggest audience for wrestling is those rednecks. You know, those rednecks are the ones that watch the WWEs. So, you want to put on this WWE front, but you want to be treated like pro athletes, but yet you don't want the rednecks to watch you? I mean, like, I would have been going out in my first shoot going, yeah, I want to come. I would have, listen, if I was Sonic Fox, I would have put a Confederate flag jacket on my furry ass and walked around making friends. You know, and Foxy, yeah, there are personalities that are just overlooked. You know, but it's like they don't. The problem is the communities deem who's worthy and not worthy of being put front and center. You know, and because of that, a lot of people will get overlooked. You know, the UK guys in the Mortal Kombat scene have probably been the most overlooked people in the Mortal Kombat scene, you know, since MK9. But their growth, you know, between Mustard and Ketchup, you know, jumping onto the commentating stuff, you know, but, you know, even if they're overlooked, it's still just 1, 2, or 3. You know, the FGC doesn't have a viable market. There's no demographic that you can look at and say, this is where we belong. Because, believe it or not, you know, you go to the younger generation, now they would rather play Fortnite. They would rather play Fortnite than deal with a fighting game. You know, and you could talk I remember everybody saying Dragon Ball Z was going to be the Mac Daddy of all games. You know, yeah, it's a good game and it's doing well in the FGC, but it didn't sell numbers that, like, you know, were considered blockbuster numbers. You know, and it's like, you know, now, you know, all the games are they're trying to make the games more accessible. But they're fucking themselves at the same time because they're putting in all this microtransaction shit. You know, everybody wants to do microtransactions to games, DLCs and patches. Listen, just give me a game for $80 that's a complete game, that's fun. Every character doesn't have to be 100% unique. I could deal with palette swap ninjas. I've done it. I've dealt with it for 25 years. The footsie game doesn't have to be amazing. What has to happen is little Billy, 8 years old, needs to be able to pick up the game and feel like he does good at it. That he's at a level where he feels he's able to compete with a top player. And a top player knows he can't take it easy on him because of the fact that he might get his ass whooped. No, nothing's saving shit. You know, but there's no games out there, period, that are end-all games. You know, this dial-a-combo system of hitting a guy 999 times looks nice and flashy, but because of that, it makes the game look silly. You know, it makes the game look not entertaining, because with all that waves of shit, older people, older demographics look at that and go, I don't know what the fuck's going on. You know, and when you do decide to pick up a game, you know, and you say, all right, I finally got good at this. 2 days later, you find out it's a patch. Everything you used to do, that's gone. That don't work no more. You know, so it's sad that game developers have gone that route. I mean, look, dude, at the end of the day, you know, it's gotten to the point where game developers are just looking for the quick buck. They don't care about esports. Yeah, they're going to turn around and say they do, but, you know, they're not in business to promote esports. They're in business to sell fucking games. And that's their only goal. Now, you could put out community managers and tournament, you know, people to go around and do tournaments and shit, but at the end of the day, none of that is important. All that is important is we make a product, we sell the product, we make a profit. You know, except now they double dip with the profit, because they say, well, we're going to sell you the game for $60, and in 3 weeks for $30, we're going to give you 3 more characters. You know, and when you really think about it, you know, I think I was breaking down, I believe it was MKX that I broke down, and to buy all the cool shit that came with it, the Super Duper Ultra Edition, to unlock everything in the crypt, to do everything, it literally came out to somewhere around $300 to get everything out the game for a $60 game. So it was $300 because you get the little statue and the Goros and this and that, and then you want to go download the Jasons and this and the Leatherface and that. That's another $30, and then there's another $30, and you know, you get the special kit, and that's another $120. Then you buy a stick, that's $80, and by the time you're said and done, you spend $300 for a $60 game, and by the time you actually really get into the game and you say, wow, you know what, I kind of vibe with this game, you turn around and they patch it, and everything that you liked is gone. You know, or you do like what they did, which was during story mode, when the game first dropped, you know, you got X amount of coins, and then when they realized, well, wait, that's too easy, so they lowered the amount of coins that you got for finishing the game. And that's the other thing. Super DLCs and easy fatalities. Unlock everything in the fucking the crypt. You know, 30 plus 6 is season pass. With 3 seasons at $30 a shot, right there you're talking about $150. Now, if you went out and didn't spend the $60 and you said, let me go buy the Super Duper Deluxe, you know, Scorpion Statue Edition, that was another $120, you know, and it just adds up, and it's the microtransaction market doesn't work well, especially for fighting games, but it doesn't work particularly well for console-based games in general, you know. You know, and it's PC based. You know, everything was based off of the League of Legends model. You know, but the difference is they gave you the game for free. You know, they gave you the game for free. So everything that you bought was like buying the game. Versus, you know, this shit where it's, well, listen, you give me MKX for free, and then I'll buy all that crap. But don't make me spend $80 for the game and then have to start buying all this other crap. You know, Street Fighter in itself was just a disaster, like beyond any disaster I ever seen. I mean, you bought the game without a story mode. You know, and that's the part of it that these companies don't understand. I don't know if it's they don't understand or they just don't give a fuck. I don't know if it's still free. I think there's still a character a week or something that's free. I mean, I got the Super Duper. Oh, I actually broke down and bought the Super Duper Ultra Edition of it. Haven't played it in forever and a day, but you know, it's definitely, what is this? You know, it's definitely it was offering one character a week. You know, so I mean, again, like I said, it's the industry itself, and don't be surprised if more companies this year start disappearing. Oh yeah, we're going to continue to buy it because there's nothing else there. Nobody's given that option. Nobody's giving that option to pick up something else. Nobody's going that route saying, you know what, we're going to go back to square one. I wish Mortal Kombat went back to square one. If Mortal Kombat went back to square one to a simpler time. Listen, if you made the game like 1, 2, or 3 and just cleaned it up, you would make a perfect game that both old generation, new generation, and newcomers to the game could fall into. If Street Fighter went back, you know, again, to a simpler time where anybody could pick up the game, it would be a simpler time. Because the difference is, what they tried to do with Street Fighter is they tried to make it easily accessible to everybody. And at the same time, they tried to do, well, but if you're really good, you'll find other things you can do. So you kind of wiped out that learning curve that you were trying to put in. Like, they were trying to bridge the gap between average player and a pro. You know, and because of that, it just turned out to be a clusterfuck. Injustice, you know, Injustice was just, it's like a tit-for-tat game. That's it. Tit-for-tat, you know. I've had guys ask me, and I was talking to Emperor Warcon yesterday, and I had said to him, you know, the new generation cares about the frame data info, all this other shit. I don't care. Like, I've never dealt with frames. I don't care. You know, I just never cared about the frame data. You learned it by doing it. You know, I don't want people to tell me, oh, well, this character's -6 on this and minus that. All right, well, guess what? I'll figure that out on my own by playing the game. You know, we used to master every character. We didn't have a main and a backup. We mastered every character. That way you knew. Now, unfortunately, as they increased the roster to like 9,000 characters, it's hard to go and master all of them. But at least try to go to as many as you can. That way, it is, your skill isn't based off of matchup experience versus, well, I know, you know, I know Sonya, I know Johnny Cage. I know what both of them do. So I know right off the bat how those styles, those characters interact with each other, how they'll play. You know, I would rather learn the whole roster of characters. Listen, I hate girl characters, but I still know how to play Melina and Katana. You know, but now everybody, you know, because of the esports mentality and all the other bullshit, you know, oh, well, we need, you know, we need to be able to push the buttons and get all the frame data. Why? You know, exactly. Play the game by feel. You'll figure out, you know, to me, a better player plays by feeling versus frame data information. And they'll always be the better player. Because they play, it's like, it's like comparing. I'm going to see if I can make this analogy. A person that plays a musical instrument by reading a sheet of music is still a musician. But an artist that paints with his feeling. He doesn't get a sheet of music in front of him or or something to copy. He paints with his feeling. And or even like we'll go back, just use two different musicians. One is trained by reading sheet music, and the other one's by feeling. And hey, yeah, but unless Street Fighter V is the only game at locals for you to try, not to cave and waste money. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Fright Night? We talked a little bit about a little of all the stuff that happened at CEO. But yeah, I guess a better analogy would be, a musician plays by feeling the music itself, and another one is trained to read sheet music. They're both musicians, but one of them can't deviate from what they're taught, which is reading that sheet music. A frame data guy can't think out of the box. When I see combos by somebody that I know that plays by feeling, like when I first saw Scar playing with Sonya, and he first pulled out that whole fucking drop bomb, fucking electrocute bullshit, and I ain't seen nobody do it, that was amazing to see. Because that was something that he did, probably sitting in trial mode the whole time, and came and just fucked around, and finally said, hey, if I do this, let's see what happens. If I do this, let's see what's happening. Lord Brady, next Evo, confirmed. And that's the part of gaming that I've always liked. I've like the player Gur. Right now I got 3 players, and that's it in all of the NRS community that earned my respect. Now, I'm not sitting here saying my respect earning is like, top tier level, but Scar, Gur, and Hayate are the only 3 players that are in the top ranks that I respect. There's nobody else, because nobody earned it. And for me to give respect, that means you had to have shown me something. And I've watched all these players' growth. I watched Gur from basements of locals, at GameStops over here to going on the big stage. Same thing with guys like Scar, Hayate, whether it was Takeda, or his Robin, he's a character loyalist to the end. And to me, yeah, like I just said, it's nice to be able to play all characters, but he sticks with his character. He never counter picks and never looks to pick somebody else. He's always ride or die with his character. And that's why those 3 guys are my favorite guys. In the Street Fighter world, I don't give a shit anymore. I don't give a shit anymore. And it's like, I mean, listen, on the UK side, yeah, I always like Foxy. But you got again, and something Foxy's always said is like, there is a bias to the European players here. There's always been. Even before these guys were here. What the hell was his name? The first UK guy. There was the first UK guy, the first known UK guy. Believe it or not, the first UK guy was one of the first in the MK community, ironically. This guy, Anthony something. I gotta, what the hell was his name? I'll tell you right now. Jesus Christ. God. Anthony Espindola. Anthony Espindola was one of the first Mortal Kombat guys. He was from London, I believe. But like, I'm going back to 92, 93. You know, there was a scene. I had put up a poll. In fact, let's see the poll. I forgot all about that. I know I did a poll not too long ago. Oh, come on, you fucker. Where's that poll? Okay, I had done a poll. I still got 9 hours left. The question to the poll was, what year did the NRS/MK scene begin? And I gave choices of 92, 93, 96, and 2011. Now, obviously, the game came out in the first one came out in 1992. There was a scene, and it was a traveling scene and tournaments and everything. And that did win thus far with 46%. But the fact that 1993 and 1996 each got 13% of votes, and 2011 got 28% of the votes. 2011 was MK9. It did not start in 2011. NRS MK scene. I'm specifically talking about the MK scene. That's why I said NRS/MK scene. Because the NRS scene is consistent of MK and Injustice. But technically speaking, the MK scene began in 1992, which was with Midway, correct? You know, but the MK scene is still the same guys, with just guys leaving and coming and going. But the scene has been here since 1992. You know, there are players that, you know, are out there that never got any recognition because it was consistent of, you know, a group of guys from New York traveling to Chicago and just playing on a weekend. And that was our tournament scene. You know, most of it was based off of IRC back in the day, you know, in a couple of websites. But there are people that actually think the MK scene started in 2011. Now, maybe I shouldn't have put NRS in there. I should have just worded it, the MK scene. But, you know, when I wrote NRS, I was just to say that NRS/MK versus NRS/Injustice. But the scene, like, you go to Street Fighter, you know who Daigo is. You now know who Karuta is. You know the Eddie Lees. You know the people know their history. The MK scene. You know, the MK scene. We should have a show on new developers for Mortal Kombat and at least Injustice. Friday, we should have a show on new developers for Mortal Kombat. Maybe Rocksteady can make a better Injustice. You know what? That's a possibility. I mean, I don't think Injustice was... I don't think Injustice was good, either one of them. 1 or 2. Story mode was great. I enjoyed the game as a 1-player game. As a 2-player game, I did not enjoy it. Tom was not dominating in the 90s. Tom wasn't even in the 90s. Tom didn't come until the mid to I guess the mid 90s to the second half of the 90s. Now we're underground in basements and seeing MK1 for the first time. I was an instant fan. Yeah, I mean, I was going in Manhattan. I was going in Manhattan. You had Broadway Arcade. You had Playland. You had Penn Station. No, nobody went to Chinatown Fair because all their machines were always fucking broken. You know, NRS games lost their luster, in my opinion. You know, after MK9, they kind of... The problem with the NRS slash MK slash Injustice scene is that the egos. I remember after MK9 and they were announcing Injustice, and the egos of the MK community right off the bat, oh, all you Injustice guys are going to get bodied by us. You know, we're going to come in, we're going to blow yous up, yada, yada, yada. And they didn't. I mean, Foxy, I'll say Foxy was consistent. You know, Foxy was a consistent player in both of them. But rarely did a player that was an MK9 player transition that well over to Injustice. I mean, I believe Foxy did, Rio did for a while. Who else did like really transition well? I mean, honestly, like those of you, two of the guys that I think that did transition well from that shit talk where all the MK guys were telling all the Injustice guys they're gonna get bodied if they come to my game in Injustice, and within like the first month they were Forever King's another one, DJT's another one, but there's a very short list of people that did make that transition well from MK to Injustice. You know, a lot of them, like the CD Juniors, you know, they all just kind of fizzled away. The late bloomers of, you know, and again, and it's not to shit on people, but, you know, one of the things I noticed, like MK, that was a perfect example, was when top players stopped playing it as much, and the second wave of players that came in got good, and then the first generation of MK11 players came back, and they ain't been playing the game, and they get beat, and it's like, you know, you can't. I'd argue higher in 16-bit made balance. I agree. You know, I agree with that, Fright Night. I don't think 16 bits an asset to the game. I don't hate the guy. You know, listen. I'll be honest. I would fire their community manager and I would clear house on some of their you know, there's such a, and it's, I could see it because I lived it. You know, from Acclaim, there is such a stink at NRS. I mean, I think Tyler Lansdowne's a horrible community manager. I don't hate the guy, but he's a horrible community manager. I would get rid of him. I would clear house on their testers. The problem, and here's the thing, you know, when, you know, and I had actually given a list of testers to these guys back pre-Injustice of people that I thought in the community that would be good testers, and I was wrong. You know, I unfortunately picked players that I thought would help the development of the game versus helping a character along that they liked so it would be good. Tyler's just the problem with Tyler is he's clueless. You know, he's clueless. He's arrogant. He don't listen to people. You know, he's definitely full of himself. It looks like, oh, I'm not filming from hell. Hold on. There, now I'm not in hell no more. Yeah, as far as Tyler, Tyler's a fake gamer. Here's one of the problems that has always plagued the gaming industry. A lot of these companies, you know, and people always ask me, like, well, how do I get into working on games and this and that? It is not a what you know. It's straight up who you know. You know, it's a straight up who you know. And it don't matter what you know. You know, a lot of the guys that get jobs as analysts or testers or you know, or even producer roles, they take the job because they hear video games and they think, well, oh shit, I'm going to get a job playing video games. I'll do this. Meanwhile, the dude maybe he has a music band and he's trying to make it in the band thing, and he's like, well, this is extra money while I try to become a famous musician. So they're not in the industry because they want to be in the industry. They're in the industry because they think it's a quick buck. You know, and that's hurtful to people that might be gamers in the community that want to pursue game development for real. Perfect example, I read online, Decay. You know, all you MK guys know Decay. He was working at NRS. He was an artist. He was trying to get in. Well, guess what? He's moving to Georgia, I think it was, to work for another company. Now, for those who know who Decay is, Decay was a die-hard NRS. I mean, I always see this guy drawing Goros and this and that. Die-hard MK guy. What do you think for a guy who got into the company to work on the game that he's basically spent his whole life prepping for, only to leave? You know, right there is very telling of how fucked up the industry can be. You know, it's based off of false promises. You know, everybody shakes your hand while they're putting their cock in your ass when you're not looking. You know, oh, I got you, man. Oh, I'm going to do this and this and this and this. And at the end of the day, they don't do shit. You know, how many times have you guys, you know, a lot of you guys gotten promises from people in the FGC, you know, and the guy says, oh, yeah, I got you, I got you, I got you. And then 6 months later, you just don't hear from that motherfucker again. You know, and that's the sad part about the industry, because the people that actually have the passion for it get overlooked. They get overlooked consistently. You know, now we could all sit there and say artists are a dime a dozen. And in fact of the matter is they are. But when you can come across an artist who actually has a passion for what he does and has an extra doubly passion for the game that you're actually working on, why would you not want him involved? Like, that's literally a guy that you could turn around and be like, yo, listen, Decay, you know, I want to hire you full time. I got you. But I'm going to put you on salary. And by the way, by salary, that means you work as long as we need you, because whatever the salary is, that's all you're getting. And he won't complain about it. See, one of the things a lot of people don't understand, you know, about game development is during what's called crunch time, when the game got to get out, you are literally turning. James, who's that person in a hoodie standing behind you? I don't know. You know, the industry is relentless during crunch time. You could sit in you could be at your office working on a game to get it out for the Christmas rush or the spring rush, you know, putting in literally 24 hours a day for a week straight without even walking home. You know, so because of that, you know, I would rather somebody that I'm going to put the pressure on them and basically squeeze the fucking money out of them. I would rather have a person that's passionate about it versus the person that all he's going to do is, I'm going to keep him there for 24 hours, and 22 of the hours he's going to bitch about how he's got to still be there. And you know what, Vinnick, that's exactly what happens. You know, you're literally, you know, and that's why you'll notice a lot of the times when you go to these companies, they have a very loose environment. Shit, you come down in bicycle shorts and flip-flops and a t-shirt, and there's energy drinks and all the crap that you need. But at least if you get the people that are passionate about the project, they're not going to bitch. They want to be there. And somebody like Decay, I know deep down, for him to leave NRS to go work somewhere else, that broke his heart. I can guarantee you that broke his heart. You know, and exactly, talented guy. But again, it's an industry of not what you know, it's who you know. And, you know, people have bullshit themselves in positions. People are weasels. I'm not... Candyman. I'm going to go get a drink of water. Candyman, I'll let you type it out. Remember Comic-Con last year, Candyman? Type out what happened for the chat in a short version, and let's see what they think about NRS. Yeah, so, all right, so basically, guys, I'll shorten it. I'll shorten the whole story. All right, so last year at Comic-Con, all right, it was the 25th anniversary for Mortal Kombat. In fact, hold on a second. Alright, for all you guys out there, let me move my cigarette. Alright, so basically what you see here, okay, as you can see, this is all autographed by everybody. This is the first shirt. This is the first shirt that Ed Boon and Tobias and all the actors signed literally 25 years ago. And basically, hold on a second, let me put it back up. Alright, so basically in a nutshell, 25 years ago, that was the first shirt that was ever signed. So at Comic-Con, you know, Boone and company had a panel. So I met with the guys. Hellos, casual, goodbye. And I figured it'd be kind of cool to have Boone and Tobias being together again, and it's been a while. Have them all sign the shirt for the 25th anniversary. So during the panel, I ran into Tyler Lansdowne for the first time ever, and I tried to be civil. Hey, what's up? You know, nothing crazy. I knew there was a little tension there because, all right, I had leaked out the roster for the Injustice games and the MKX games, and, you know, they were pissed that I did, which is understandable. So he had a little apprehension towards me, which was fine. But I tried to make small talk and everything, and then I just realized at that point he's a dick. He's a pompous, fat, bearded fuck that thinks he's smart. You know, one of these guys that talks down to you. So I just blew it off. I said whatever. So anyway, during the uh, during the panel, said I'm not going to have Ed and shit and have them all sign it now. I have them sign it later because there was a party. I didn't know about the party. And then Gandyman had said, you know, there's a after-hour party. And I said, all right, fuck it. I'll just go to the after-hour party. So, you know, one of my friends there, I had said to him, yeah, I'll go to the party. And he kind of, you know, I'm not perfect. I'm naive at times, too. So I kind of turned around and he said to me, yeah, it's a party, but you're probably not going to like it. Now, I took that as you're basically telling me there's a bunch of fucking squares going to be there and the party's going to suck. But I said, ah, fuck it, let me go anyway. In reality, he was kind of telling me, I don't think you should show up to the party, but he didn't want to tell me that because I pissed a lot of people off. But, so I go to the party, and I'm hanging out, and it's me and Gandy, and we're hanging out, and I figured, all right, I'll get Ed to sign this, everything will be fine, whatever, yada yada, hang out for a while and split. So, I'm sitting there, and I'm drinking a beer, and I'm playing the game Tron, and I Love Tacos, Sean Himrick, comes up to me out of the blue, and tells me, hey you gotta get out of here. And I said, excuse me, who the fuck are you? And he says, this is a private party. And I got upset and I said, we'll talk outside, yada, yada, yada. Things got heated up. And he said, well, I'll stop you from coming back in. And I chased him and made him hide between two doors. And he tried to hold the one door shut while I ripped it open. And the guy turned around and he goes, and they go and they call the cops. The party was in the party was in New York in like a barcade. So, so the cops come and of course they're like, oh, we want you to get off the block. I said, excuse me? So I told the cop, no. He said, you can't kick me off a fucking block. And I had a couple of people approach me and say, Jimmy, please don't go berserk. We're going to fucking... So I said, listen, I said, I'm going to go and I'm going to go to the bar up the block and I'm going to turn around and when I come back here, and I told them, I said, what time's the party end? And they said 9 o'clock. So I came back about, I don't know, 8:55. And so I turn around and... He got scared to come outside. Needless to say, they were all scared to come out because they were scared I'm going to beat them up. So they brought the cops back. So the cop comes and he's like, you got to leave. I'm like, I ain't got to leave. I'm on the block. I'm not drunk. I ain't bothering nobody. I said, I didn't punch the guy out. I said, he's just a fucking coward. So what I had found out throughout the time that went by is apparently Sean was mad for two reasons from what I heard. One, because for the MK people out there, remember he went into his little fucking pussy mode of people on Twitter said they're gonna kill me and my wife and kids, and he got all scared and it became a Kotaku article and he left Twitter forever. Apparently somehow he thought I had something to do with that. And then on top of that, what I was told, exactly, Fright Night, same exact guy. So apparently I had something to do with that. And I tried to be civil with him at first. But then, like, you could just tell when somebody's a dick. And I can only be civil to so much. I mean, honestly, if the bouncer didn't beg me not to fucking continue, I would have fucking choked the guy out. I ain't gonna lie. And I know Tyler had something to do with this too, because Tyler's a weasel. So what wound up happening was, the other part was, I was told by people that were in the QA group that when I had leaked out the roster, he came into the room like one of those typical Nazi dicks, trying to figure out who leaked out the stuff to me. And all he had to do was give me a call. I would have told him who leaked the shit. You know, but now that you're a dick to me, I'll never tell you shit. You know, I'll never tell you shit now, but you had an opportunity. All you had to do was, yo, Jimmy, who told you all the information? Oh, it was this guy over here. He ain't even in he wasn't even in America. He was in Europe, dude. He was in Poland or Germany. So, you know, for me, when it was all said and done, and they were trying to diffuse everything. You know, I told a couple of the guys there, I was like, yo, you know what's fucked up? I said, I supported this game. I've worked on this game. I've written books for this game. And I kind of felt like how the original actors got spited out of the whole franchise. You know, the Daniel Pacino's and all that. You know, and I was like, wow, for everything I've tried to do to help promote this game over the last 25 years, you got this fat fuck and this fucking lanky ass hillbilly gonna dictate to me of what bars I can go in. And I said, you know, all I wanted was have a beer and have these guys sign the fucking shirt for the 25th year. So, you know, I had reached out to, I think it was Brian LeBaron, and I said, do me a favor. Because Brian was one of those that was like, yo, Jimmy, man, they're fucking living. And I said, Brian, you know me. You've known me for fucking 25 years. All I wanted was these two motherfuckers to sign this goddamn shirt. So he took the shirt in, Boone signed it, Tobias signed it, and all was good, and I went about drinking. But now you know why I can't stomach Sean Hemrick. And it's not because he hid between two doors like a fucking coward. It was because he went to the QA people and belittled them like they're pieces of shit, like he's some kind of fucking god. You know, and that's the part that bothers me the most. You know, again, this is a guy that's not a gamer. He's not a gamer. And I don't give a shit how many years he's worked on games. You're not a gamer. You know, there's a certain aura about a person who is a gamer. Somebody can work in the gaming industry, you know, for 50 years and not be a gamer. You know, but guys like him and Tyler are in it until, listen, Tyler Lansdowne, all that motherfucker wants to do is get a PR. He wants to be community manager for his Kansas City Chiefs or his Kansas City Royals, and he's going to bounce the fuck out of NRS quicker than anybody. You know, that's a fact. You know, these guys are not in it for the passion of the industry. They're in it for the quick buck to bounce on. Yes, there definitely is a smell. You know, I mean, I'm sure this is, I'm not looking for it to be a popular episode. You know, and I bit my tongue, and Gandyman can vouch for me on this. I've never really talked about this publicly. But you know what? A year later, fuck it. I don't give a shit. You know, the fact that this guy came out acting as if I did something to him. Yeah, I leaked out your roster. Well, maybe you should do a better job securing your shit. You know, don't blame me. Ain't my motherfucking fault. Oh, wait, that's right. Because I worked on the past ones, I'm supposed to have some loyalty? Well, motherfucker, you showed me no loyalty. You know, you ain't showing me no loyalty. You know, I like Rigo Cortez, great dude. Great dude. Tyler Lansdowne, get him the fuck out. Send that fucking Muppet to goddamn fucking Kansas City to go work for the Royals or some shit. And you know what, something, Electroplasm? That was why I did leak it out. That's why I leaked it out in bits and pieces. That's why I didn't rip the Band-Aid off. Listen, I could have ripped the Band-Aid off months before I let the roster out. But I started out, originally the way I leaked it out was just first letters. And I remember it well. If you go to any of these sites, any of the little MK sites, oh, this guy James MK is just some crazy old man. He yells at clouds. He don't know shit. Oh, he don't know the roster. And as it slowly evolved, and it became that I was 100% right on everything. All of a sudden, people were like, well, I knew that already. I mean, that was obvious. I mean, I made shit up, like, just to throw you off, I made shit up. You know, a guy that walks around with a Tarkatan blade who kills Tarkatans. You know, a gunslinger. Bow and arrow guy. Because I didn't want to give everything away. I wanted to leave at least a little bit of element of surprise. But I will say this one. I didn't know they were putting a gay character in. Which I don't care. But, you know, one of my points about the whole gay character thing is being that there's a large percentage of gay employees that have worked in and out of Midway/NRS. Don't tell me he wasn't politically put in. They put him in right at the time that gay marriage became a hot topic, and all of a sudden, if you work for a company that has 9 different versions of a game, are you really going to tell me that it took 22 years for all the gay employees to say, why don't we put a character in that's gay? And it just so happens about in the middle of a prime discussion about gay marriage? Please. Talk about what? SC, Soul Calibur? You know, I'll be honest, I really haven't fucked with it much. You know, I've argued with Gandhi Man about this a million times. Gandhi Man is one of those guys that I watch that's blind to the way the community is. He only wants to see the community go and grow, and I keep telling him, I'm like, look, man, they will not remember you. They will not care. The minute you're not worth anything to them, they off you like you're nothing. And I don't care if you're a player, a commentator, anything. They throw you under the bus. You know, and that's the reality of the community. It don't matter what you did for it in the past, it's what you do for it now. That's all they care about. You know, for the amount of money that I threw into pop prizes and all that, you know, and to get a little TYM, oh, thank you, James MK, for throwing $5,000 into a pot. Motherfucker, NRS wasn't giving you shit. NRS wasn't giving you motherfucking shit. I was the one putting up all the money. Now all of a sudden NRS comes around and throws a couple of $10,000 around, and all of a sudden everybody's like, oh my God, NRS is great. Who's James? I don't know. I'm the guy that's been doing it for the last dozens of fucking years. I'm the guy that prints up shirts and just gives them away. I do what I want to do because I can do what the fuck I want. And no fat fucking bearded fucking community manager or no fucking lanky ass Midwest bumpkin gonna tell me what and what I shouldn't do for the community. Now I can't compete with the community with Warner Brother money. You know, I'm sorry guys that when NRS puts up $10,000 or $50,000, I'm not going to put my literally measly $100 or $1,000 in, because who wants to hear, yeah, the pot price is now $50,183.22. No, just leave it at 50 grand. They want to put 50 grand in, that's for them, not me. Tyler came into the picture, Injustice 1 he came in. You know, and you know, I tell people this all the time. Look, MK9 was the best game out of the last 4. MK9 brought a resurgence to the MK community. MK9 was number 1. NRS/Midway has, you know, everybody was trying to figure out if they were going to release a video or something at E3. The only pattern they've always followed, which has always been consistent: 1 good game, 3 shit games. The next game is after the 3 shit games is a good game. So you had MK9, 2 Injustices in MKX, which were kind of ass. Who was gay in fucking Kung Lao's nephew was gay in it. Bow and arrow, Kung Jin was. There was the part in the game where Raiden says to him when he's fucking running around being a douchebag, they do not care what's They care what's in your heart, not who you desire. That was another way of saying that he was gay. But you know, they've always done 1 good to 3 bad. And that ratio has been going on since MK4. And that's why I do have faith in MK11. And that's why I'm glad they didn't announce nothing. You know, I joked around. I don't. All right, let me be 100% clear. I don't have a roster. I don't know who's going to be in the game. I don't have any of that. Not like the last couple of versions. But, you know, even if I did this time around, I'm not leaking anything. Now, every once in a while, I'll tweet something joking around. I mean, like, I did what I did the first time, joking around a couple of weeks ago, and just listed the letters to the names. But let me tell you something, guys. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to go, if I put down 4 S's, well, that right there leaves you Shiva, Sonya, Striker, Sindel. It can leave you so many different names. So I use the letters to names, but there's no legitimacy. Nah, I'm not going to do it again. I'm not going to do it again. Because you know what? The MK community kind of pissed me off too. You know, because, listen, I ain't never lied to this community. Nah, you're not getting Spawn. I mean, if they go the same route with the DLC shit, you might see them. But, you know, it's... Personally, I would rather see a remastered 1 to 4, and then a remastered 5 to 8 after of the originals, if they can clean them up a little bit, or an HD version of all the originals, the original 4, or original 3, should I say. I think that would be cool. And then allow them to develop MK11 on the next gen. But I don't, you know, and I talked to Gandhi about this, I don't think they're going to wait to next gen. You know, they're not... Warner Brothers is a cash cow. And, you know, the Midway guys... The problem is, the original Midway guys come from a generation of there's no real clock on what you're developing. You know, and because of that, they were allowed to take their time. You know, and MK has the best story of all five. Absolutely. You know, but it's like they came from a generation of arcade games where they literally had as much time as they wanted. The ball was in their court. They didn't have the pressure of console development where they were told, you know, it has to be by this day and it has to be done. As they've evolved and as Midway closed their arcade division, they finally got to experience the crunch times. You know, where an arcade game, you know, was going to get sold to arcade distributors, and then they would send it, you know, sell it to vendors who would put it in their arcades or out on their routes. That's now gone. Now it's direct. You know, now it's direct to the consumer. And, you know, obviously Christmas time, and then, you know, that March to May crunch times that you come across where they want to get the games out for the summer and they want to get the games out for Christmas. They want to get the games out in time for the E3s, and they want to get the games out in time to get the Christmas rush. So a lot of the developers will have a million ideas that get scrapped now. A lot more ideas get scrapped for the consoles versus the arcades. And with that, that's why, like, you'll see all these characters, you know, they might announce something at Comic-Con. You know, I mean, if they do anything, it's going to be a banner, you know, MK11. I mean, I ain't going to go, I don't know, man. I might go to Comic-Con just to fuck with people. But I don't know. I got to see if that's going to happen. But if anything, they're going to do a coming soon. You know, they'll show the MK logo and then slap an 11 and leave it at that. You know, but I don't know. You know, they're supposedly redoing the Unreal Engine. So hopefully, again, they'll drop the Injustice. Listen, Injustice is a fun game to play one player, but personally, I never liked the animations. Now, the animations are good. They're kind of too good. First of all, I think all the fucking all the characters got velociraptor hands and shit. I don't like that part of it. But there's a lot of frames of animation. But seeing 100 frames of this looks fucking stupid. You know, everybody be running around like praying mantises and velociraptors and shit. And it's like, you don't appreciate the animations. You know, and that's something that comes down to artists. You know, that's artists doing it. And, you know, one of the things that I always appreciated about Mortal Kombat was the anti-air punch, which was, the anti-air punch was a key instrument to the game's success as a fighting game competitively in general. But even with less frames of animation, you know, when you seen somebody punch, you saw this. And you knew at this point the hitboxes would collide and you would get that hit at the right time. Now it's this. You see these little nubs. You know, and they should have never gone away with it. You know, it was what you used to set up your combos. It was what you used to carry people away. It's what you used to create combos. And, you know, after 4, you know, when they went 3D, yeah, you started to lose it because, you know, I had told Boone back in, after MK3, when they started to develop MK4, and I had pulled him on, you know, we talked from time to time on the phone, and I had told him that I didn't think they should go 3D. And at the time, you know, Tekken was coming out, Tekken 3 was out, and, you know, it was, oh, well, this is the future, 3D. And I said, listen, I said, the reason games like Tekken can last on a 3D environment is because there's no projectiles. There's no fireballs. There was none of that. It was hand-to-hand combat. It was grappling. But when you turn around and you took characters like Scorpion, who, yeah, I'm going to put this up on, what happened to you, man? What were you in the hospital for? When you turn around and you had Scorpion who threw a spear, which in the 2D era, you had a choice, duck and block. But one way or the other, you had to react in a way that would trap you down. Whereas when you went to the 3D plane, you sidestepped it, which basically made every fireball worthless in the game. Because every fireball, all you had to do was step to the side, step to the side, step to the side. You know, and, oh, broken ankle, damn. That sucks. Get better. I'll have this up on YouTube probably tonight. But, you know, it's like, to basically take the moves that were staples to the game, ice balls and clones and spears, and allow people to just sidestep them. You know what though, Ghidorah, the problem was, ironically, the 3D game sold the worst, progressively worse after 4. They sold, but they didn't sell well. It was only until they went back to the 2D of MK9 did the game pick up again. So I didn't have to convince them. The sales numbers convinced them. You know, yeah, I'll be at Summer Jam. You know, so the 3D era You know, and listen, I'm not going to lie, the games were fun. I played them. You know, in fact, you know, I got them right here. Here. And here. You know, I mean, I got them all right there. But were they fun? No. They were acceptable. You know, they were acceptable because I followed the franchise. You know, I out of faith to the game and to the franchise, I bought the games. Exactly, Thumbreaker. You know, it's I just bought them all. You know, and it's like it was good because it was the beginning of online shit. You know, it was the beginning of the online shit. The creator character one was actually kind of fun. Suhao, Utaro, but see, in my opinion, I mean Cobra. You know, I liked Cobra, but I'm like, really, Cobra? You know, he was Hoang from Tekken. You know, no creativity really went into these. You know, chess combat was they always brought something new to the table. That was one of the things Boone was always adamant about. Was every version of the game had to have something dramatically different. As you evolved, it went to the X-rays, creative fatalities, you know, brutalities. He always added some element to the game that was different. The kart racing, the Tetris shit. You know, so they've always done well with that. But sales-wise, you know, the 3D era just didn't do that well. Harry carries. But, you know, it's also now, I don't know, the MKX storyline, personally, I would, my idea would be simple. Alright, my idea for a story would be, at the end of all of this bullshit, Raiden's all fucked up, but there's a new anti-hero that's going to come, and that's going to be Shang Tsung, because I like the 3 variation, but let Shang Tsung, I would let Shang Tsung, give him a nice CGI opening, where he fucking kills Quan Chi, kills Shao Kahn, and somehow manages to take the goddamn Onaga shit and steal that soul too, and become the ultimate badass. Because let's be real here, at the end of the day, he was the badass from the beginning. Shao Kahn all of a sudden came around and he was like in 3, like, oh, and 2, like, oh, I was really the boss. Nah, let Shang Tsung be the slick Rick that fucked him over. Let him be the Loki of the game. You know? And let him get all powerful, give him all his fucking transformations again. Personally, I would take Shang Tsung and I would put him on that Thanos level and let Shang Tsung turn around, and at the end of MK11, do a fucking snap and kill all the people that you don't want in the game no more. Let him kill them off. And then kill off Casey, kill off fucking Takedas, you know, kill off a couple of the guys that you didn't like. Let the bad motherfucker win. You know, let the bad guy finally win the game. Fucking 10 versions of the game, this motherfucker can't get a break. All the new characters, boom. Now that's going to set Johnny Cage in a rage. You killed my daughter. You know, fucking Takeda is going to be all fucking daddy fucking Kenshi going to be all pissed off. Bring him back as old man. But give him the ability to transform into 2 versions of himself. Let him have the middle-aged and a younger age version. Give him a backstory. You know, let Shang Tsung be the pissed off anti-hero that you kind of like even like with Thanos in the Marvel universe. Yeah, he was a dick, but there was moments that you were like, oh, I kind of feel for him. Like Johnny in Cobra Kai. Johnny in Cobra Kai is a perfect example. For 35 years, everybody thought fucking Johnny was a dick and Daniel LaRusso was this fucking great cool kid, and then turn around and let fucking you find out that Daniel was the dick and Johnny was just trying to be a fucking stand-up dude. You know, and from that point on, you're leading to a new. You can lead it to a new story at the and not have to use the back shit no more. You know, Johnny. Yeah, Johnny was the good guy, even in this one. You know, I mean, I know Silver Rye. You know, I don't know if Silver Rye in the MK community was taking jabs at me about the whole racist shit in Daytona, and when I said, "Yo, you guys are pussies. You should just punch these motherfuckers." And of course, everybody went and said, you know, Karate Kid was a great show. Cobra Kai, by far, was one of my favorite. Let the bad guys win. The bad guys have to win eventually for the story to stay exciting. Listen, at the end of the day, this Prada bag looking preppy Casey Cage shit is bullshit. So you're telling me, okay, all of these badass warriors got beat up by Scooby-Doo in the gang, and you're telling me they beat up a god? They beat up Goro? You know, they beat up all these fucking super ninjas? They beat everybody up. These mangy little kids came in and beat everybody up. You know, and it's like Kotal Khan. You know, Kotal Khan is actually a cool character. I actually got to say, I kind of liked him. You know, but I mean, to kill people, it's Mortal fucking Kombat. Kill them. You know, and let people die. You know, one of the things that I had suggested to somebody years ago, and I think I was telling Gandyman one day. I would love online play where if, for example, I play Gandyman online and I pick Scorpion and he picks Sub-Zero. And like the Pokemon training and all that other stuff. If, you know, and this would give meaning to finish him in the game. So me and Gandy play, and at the end of the game, finish him comes on, but Gandyman doesn't know the fatality, so he doesn't kill me, so he's just got to do something stupid. And then the next time I go to the character select menu and I go to select Scorpion as one of my online characters, he's actually going to, you'll see his face beat up on the fucking select screen. Because he's taking a wear and tear. He's not as strong. Now, if I turn around and turn the system off and come back 2 days later and come back, he'll be back up to his level. But now the key to it is if I turn around and I pick Scorpion and he picks fucking Sub-Zero and finish him comes on and he knows the fatality, he kills Scorpion off. The next time I go to the menu to go play somebody online, Scorpion is not selectable. He's fucking dead. And you have to wait X amount of time before you can reuse him again. This will force you to have to master more than one character. Now you got no choice. Listen, you want to be a competitive player, you better learn more characters. You know, and that's exactly what you got to do, the demo guy. That's kind of where I got this from. When I do MK2, when I play MK2 at events with Mike Riazzi, we do round robin. You know, I start from the left side, and I have to work all the way across the roster until I get to the bottom right. And he goes from the bottom right all the way. Do you really trust do something like that and not miss it? No, they would bang the shit out of it, dude. You know, and there's no way they would ever fucking do it without mastering it. They would abuse everybody, yeah. And the fact that they balance games like shit, you know. Listen, You want to balance games, simplify the characters. When you played Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3, okay, they all had, not all, but they all had all the ninjas had a roundhouse kick that was exactly the same. You know, they all had a roundhouse that was exactly the same. The girls had a roundhouse that were pretty much mostly exactly the same. You know, people got mad at palette swaps, but the simplicity to it was you knew that you could go from Sub-Zero to Scorpion, and there wasn't that much of a new learning curve. Now when you play Scorpion, you have, first of all, the switching up of the buttons, and it was funny because Kate Cujo from the Street Fighter community had tweeted out last week that she didn't even know that that was the way the Mortal Kombat buttons were laid out. And the new generation sees front punch, back punch, front kick, back kick. Those aren't the original button layouts. It's high punch, high kick, low kick. 2 punches on one side, 2 kicks on the other. Now they switched it where they put the 2 kicks up top, the 2 punches up top and the 2 kicks at the bottom. Oh yeah, they definitely want to go. The microtransaction shit is ridiculous. So, you know, they simplified. If they simplify the basic moves, you know, let the girls have something a little varying. Doesn't have to be, you know, you don't have to make everybody's the same. But like what they did well with MK3 is like, you know, Melina, Katana, and Jade had the same types of kicks, the same type of sweep, the same type of roundhouse. You know, then they could turn around. The ninjas had the same type of roundhouse, the same type of kick. It saves memory. It gives people the ability to pick up a character as an alternate or learn a variety of characters because you feel a little bit more comfortable when the basic moves to the characters stay the same. And now you're just coping with let me figure out how to tie in whatever special moves these characters have into those basic moves. But now when you play like MK11, you know, forward, you know, back and back kick is a sweep, but forward is a straight kick. You know, up is another kick, down is another kick. Then there's, when you're next to the character, there's 4 different variations as well. You know, the simplicity of it is it'll allow people to handle multiple characters at one time. When you give people the ability to play multiple characters from the get-go, they're more apt to stick with the game. Run is block. You know, and that's the thing that, you know, once you simplify the game like that, you're going to attract a crowd of people. And again, let's not get this twisted. You're not resurging the community to the point that you're going to get 1 million people playing it. People got other shit to do. But you will bring in those average people they were looking to bring in, you would actually be able to bring in. You know, microtransact the Turtles, that was fucking stupid. The Turtles was like, you know, I had laughed my ass off. When they announced the Turtles and everybody was like, oh my God, this is going to be phenomenal. And oh my, you know, listen, I hate liars. When somebody turned around and tweeted out like, oh my God, like all these people that are like Turtle comic book fans had reached out to me saying how they're going to go buy Injustice now because the Turtles in it. Dude, are you fucking stupid? Nobody in the fucking right mind is going to go out and buy Injustice just because the Turtles are in the game. Nobody. It would be the biggest waste of money. I would have to go out and spend $90 to get the Turtles to only get a story mode. I'll be honest. I liked Manta because I always thought he was a cool character. And I also liked Adam because watching Gurr play him made me like him. But I ain't got none of them on my system. Shit, I didn't need, I think I got Sub-Zero. I got the first fucking pack. That's it. I never bought anything else ever again. In fact, I don't even know if I downloaded all the characters in the first pack. You know, but the game lost interest fast. Now, you know, people in the community, biggest turtle collection in the world, you know, but, you know, my thing is, it's like, it didn't keep interest. You know, now some of the top players in the community will be like, oh, that's because you sucked at the game. Maybe so. Maybe I did suck. Regardless, I used Blue Beetle, for crying out loud. It's like using Baraka, you know, but, and that's choice. You know, that was my choice. I chose to use Blue Beetle. You know, the gear wall was another issue, of course. Cool stuff that you could never get. You can never use it in tournament. Like, what's the point? You know, but it's like they don't, they definitely don't, they don't, the community is not as embracing as people think. You know, that's across the board again. You know, and I feel bad because, you know, as much of a dick as I like to be, you know, I don't think anybody should go to an event and get fucked with. You know, I don't think anybody should go to an event and feel not welcome. But, you know, on the flip side, you also got to understand something. When you turn the video games off, you're in the real world. And in the real world, they don't care what color you are or where you come from. If they're a racist or some kind of phobic or obic or whatever, they're going to hate you. They're going to fuck with you. And for a community that claims to be, you know, tolerant, you know, I start to see top level, you know, the top level people still shitting on the underlings, I guess, if you will. It's not that embracing. There's some people that do, but there's a lot of people that don't. Hey, man, Daytona is Daytona, man. I can't, you know, I can't change Huckleberry Finland, you know, but I ain't gonna lie. I'd rather see people punch the shit out of people. But the problem with the FG, like, you know, and I seen, like, the comments. People saying, oh, well, it's stupid for me to say that. No, it's not. Oh, what if they shoot you? Well, what if you walk out of the fucking your house tomorrow and somebody just randomly shoots you? Whatever. You know, if it happens, it happens. But I tell you one thing right now. I'd rather die getting shot fucking defending myself than getting shot fucking curled up in a ball in the corner or somewhere hiding. You know, and from the way people made Daytona sound, they made it sound like literally there was just people walking with torches looking to burn people. You know, and I mean, I know I'm not going to deny that the town is probably a racist as fuck town, but, yo, it's Daytona, and if it was as bad as you guys made it sound, like, wouldn't the fucking National Guard be down there? I mean, like, the way people were making it sound, they were making it sound like the minute you stepped foot outside the convention center, there was a bunch of rednecks fucking swinging fucking Confederate flags at you. You know, the crackheads don't have guns. Exactly, Fright Night. What are they going to do? Throw a fucking crack pipe at you? You know, and yeah, maybe they need to fix their shit, but, you know, Alex Jabali can't do that. You know, we could joke around and think he's Mayor Cody or Haggard or whatever, but he's not. But to not support his event because of the outside area, then don't go outside. I mean, I hate to say it. Like I said earlier, you support Vegas. No, can't change the dichotomy of Daytona. You know, it's like you go to Vegas. Outside the fucking casino, it's a fucking, it's basically whores, hookers, and drug addicts. You know, it's like, go to L.A. Go to L.A., go downtown in L.A., it's fucking crack central. Come to New York, go to the fucking one wrong block and you're in crack central. You know, if you were dumb enough to venture across the bridge or the real surrounding area of the resort, you saw the real world. And that's exactly what it is, the real world. You know, I mean, I'm sorry if people don't want that. And the fact, like, I don't know, what bothered me the most was, like, people were actually saying things to Alex Jabali like, you didn't ensure our safety outside the venue. What is he supposed to do? Give everybody their own personal armed guard? You know, listen, if you come to Madison Square Garden in New York City for an event, and when the event is over, I don't give a fuck what you do. That's not my fucking problem. And it's not his, and at the end, it's not his problem. Now, like I said, I see he's trying to play political PC cop and be like, yeah, I'm going to talk to people. Yeah, good luck. Talk to whoever you want. You know, you're not fucking Donald Trump. They're not going to be like, you know what? We're going to next time you have an event, we're going to set up roadblocks around the city of Daytona, and we're going to make safety streets for furries to go down, and safety streets for the gay community, and safety streets for minorities. No, that's not happening. And I'm sure it did, you know. And again, it's Daytona. Daytona is, you know, it's not what it used to be. You know, the beach is kind of, you know, Daytona had spring break for a while, and it had, like, you know, a whole bunch of other shit. But Daytona is pretty much, you know, give them a furry free zone. You know, and it's like, God, dude, I don't get along with Alex, but I can't imagine all the private messages. I mean, like, even like with the pedo thing, even with the fucking pedo Pete, the wrestler, you know, with pedo Pete, I seen people like, well, you knew. Let me ask you a question. How many people in the community truly know the people that they hang out with at these events and their past? Did you do a background check on Honeybee to the MK guys? Do you know if he has a criminal record? You don't know. Nobody does that. You know, and that's the funny thing. Siren, you're right. The FGC was evolved from that crack ghetto-ass parking lot that people are fucking running away to go to esports now to. That's where it began. You know, but it's like, you don't know. You know, Justin Wong, did he ever murder somebody? You don't know. You know, Gurr could be a fucking serial killer. Who the fuck knows? I don't know. Seems like a nice kid. But, you know, serial killers always seem nice. You know, I've known Melanie for a couple of years. I don't know. Melanie and all caps could be fucking murderers. What the fuck do I know? You know, but it's like a background check on the ones that look like 16-bit. NAMBLA member lookalikes. Oh, God. You know, but it's like, I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping, I got my fingers crossed that they won't fuck MK11 up. You know, at the end of the day, I'm hoping MK11 turns out to be a good game. Will it or will it not? I don't know. But we shall definitely see. I grew up in the arcades. You know, fist fights, knives. I've had all that shit done. You know, and again, you know, having a knife pulled out on you or a gun and being here to talk about it, it's not, it's stories to talk about. But, you know, again, people are like, oh, you think you're a tough guy. Let me ask you a question. You know, all the shit that I talk, all that All Caps talks, all that Melanie talks, we're gamers. Even if you're not a gamer, who the fuck in their right mind says, hey, today I want to go out and maybe somebody will pull a knife out on me? It's not something you look for, but it's shit that happens, shit that evolves. It's stories to tell of the days of days of past. But it didn't make me a tough, like, a guy pulls a knife out on me, you don't fight him. You try to diffuse the situation. And that don't mean doing some fucking, trying to throw a fireball at him like a fucking idiot. You just try to diffuse the situation, how the situation evolves. to get it to the point. Listen, I've been called a bitch. I had a gun put to my fucking head. You know, the fuck you. Let me see what my options are. I could do some fucking Kung Fu, Street Fighter, Tekken, Mortal Kombat shit and get my fucking head blown off. Or I could just be like, yo, man, if you want my wallet, take it. I ain't got no money in it, but you can take the wallet. And then they call you a whack-ass bitch and leave you. You know, but it's like, you still need to be able, you know, there's book smart and there's street smart. The problem with the FGC is there's too many book smart, and it's book smart based off of being I tried the Hadouken that mug. I guess it didn't work. He still got the scars, you know. But the book smart people, you know, that were really smart, the geek, the nerd, as everybody gets called, has no street smart. And that was clear from the way people were tweeting to Alex during this whole thing. You know, again, here's the thing. I'm going to say, again, I like Sonic. And, you know, we don't agree on a lot of things. You know, we don't agree on a lot of things, but I don't hate the kid. But he's not a role model. You know, he's not a role model. And to real businesses, you know, Rick Fox's Echo Fox, you know, it fits the narrative for it because he's a fox and they're a fox and everybody's a fox. But if he was working, you know, or sponsored by, I don't know, say, I don't even know who the Foxwood Casino. Nah, even Foxwood Casino would probably vibe with it. Something not related to a fox. Let's say like Budweiser. Budweiser would not put him in the front of their product. You know, and again, he wants, what I noticed is he wants to take a social awareness route for the gay community or the bi community or the furry community, which is, it's noble. You know, I tell everybody the same thing. Pick your fights well. But remember, whatever fight you pick will affect how people perceive you. You know, he's not marketable. He's not marketable as he is. Because I'll tell you right now, in the real world, because homosexuality or bisex or the furry culture is not widely accepted, it kind of, it hurts his brand. You know, it hurts his brand when he, and it sucks because, you know what, on the flip side, it's not that I'm not speaking on it from my personal perspective of things, but if games are made to bring children in, and this is what's the spokesperson, a lot of parents will be steering away from it because they're going to assume that if this is the role model that the community is trying to push my kids to homosexual behavior or the furry lifestyle, and it's not marketable. It's okay for them. Listen, I don't even care if they do it where they do it. I'm just saying on a business perspective, I can't put that. Listen, I'm not a marketable person for the FGC. I go around telling people to suck my dick and cut my balls. I can't be marketed to kids, nor do I want to be. But depending on the level of comfortability of the sponsorship and the products that the sponsorship is pushing is going to dictate if he could be sponsorable. Oh yeah, I saw that, and that was cool. Like I said, Sonic is a stand-up dude. You know, but what I'm saying is on the business aspect, companies, legitimate companies, I must correct myself. Legitimate companies do not like to take risks. You know, look at this fucking Roseanne Barr chick when she went and said whatever she said about that fucking Congress girl, and Disney, you know, show was doing amazing supposedly, and they took her right off the show. Too much, gone. People were complaining about it, gone. You know, I don't think I've ever seen that in my life where they removed the main character of the show and replaced her with just like, oh yeah, we're going to kill her off. I've never seen that in any show, I don't think. The only show I ever seen that happen was the TV show Good Times, when fucking the father, Mr. Evans, he apparently I was listening to a interview with him. Apparently he was a bad drunk and he wanted more money and he was being difficult, so they killed him off on the show. You know, but the business aspect wouldn't want young kids looking up to the guy. You know, Fright Night, I mean, I kind of, yeah, they killed James because he was a drunk. Yes, the damn. But, you know, and they interviewed him, and he said that Norman Lear, the producer for the show, like, gave him like 50 chances. And then one day he turned around and he went into work and they're like, yeah, no, you don't have to be here for this one. And they're like, what do you mean? And then they found out that they killed him on the show. But you know, it's, and again, you know, people will twist it and say like I have something against Sonic. I don't. He's not marketable. You know, to his circle, he's marketable. But when I market a product, it's not to a name of James, don't do it. Don't agree with me in public. You know what? I don't care. I'm not gonna. For me, it's like when I'm marketing a product, I'm not marketing it to the gay community. I'm not marketing it to the furry community, the white community, the black community, the straight community. I'm marketing it to everybody. And now I got to look at it demographically and say, okay, whatever the product is I'm trying to push, how is it going to sell? What type of shares am I going to get in the gay community versus the straight community, the white community versus the black community? And I would base it off of that. And if the person that's the spokesperson, the front person for this, is going to neuter one of the parts of that sales, then I cannot have it. Especially if it would turn out to be a big chunk. Listen, I don't like redneck racists, but if redneck racists are going to buy my beer, then I want them to buy my beer. I'll buy some Keystone Light. You know, I have Sonic Fox do Keystone Light, and then all of a sudden, the whole hillbilly community stops buying Keystone Light. I got a problem. Especially if that's a large share of the people. Cheap beer, they like cheap beer. College kids would buy it still. If the college kids picked up the slack for the hillbillies, then I could go, Sonic, you know what, we're cool. You know, Echo Fox is like the Yankees. Listen, within the community, I think Echo Fox does good. Just unfortunately, they bought all the teams. So, you know, with them buying all the teams, the top players, you know, they kind of became like the Yankees. But I do agree that the team needs to control their players. You know, that's one of the problems with the FGC, which is they have a tendency to feel like nobody owns me. Well, listen, if I send you to events, I own you. Alright, so with Sonic Fox, I believe, you know, because he made over 400 grand, fucking Fright Night. I believe he made over 400 and something grand. His college is paid for. I'm sure he took care of his mother, and I'm sure it's getting invested. Plus, he's making money on top of that. How much, I don't know. None of my business. I hope the kid makes $1,000,000. You know, but $400,000. I don't know how much of that was taxed. You know, I don't know how much of that got taxed, how much he actually pulled in at the end of the day. But he's getting his education. You know, he's getting a... I wonder, and you know, and it's funny because as he's gotten older, I've seen him get more, I don't want to say liberal, but I've seen him becoming more open. And I had told somebody else that this exact thing was going to happen, that once he came to, you know, at this time the other person was stoking about how great he is, and I said, you know, I said, wait, you got to wait and see. I said, because once he comes to school in New York City and he leaves little, you know, Delaware / Maryland and comes to the big city, and as a kid that's come out as bisexual, who's going to be a freshman kid in college, and he's going to be experimenting, he's going to be bouncing around, I said, you watch his gaming stuff start to fall off. And let's be real here. He's still good, don't get me wrong. But you can't deny that you've seen him drop off. Yeah, well, that's the thing. They want a washed-up ex-pro gamer who is now just a gay black man. But hopefully he spends his money and saves his money the right way and gets his education. So I think, but now again, I know he wants to get into game development. You know, I know he wants to get into game development, and that's what he's going to school for. I think that's what he's going to school for. I know he's going for programming. He can get a job in the industry. He'll make money. He'll have his money saved, his little nest egg. I mean, if he took $200,000 and shoved it on the side, he'll definitely make money on a CDs and roll it into CDs or invest it into stocks. With the right investors, he can he can keep that money going for a long time. Game developer is a losing job. Unfortunately, it's a job that underappreciated, underutilized, and like I said earlier, most of the developers that they've been bringing in, especially programmers and that, aren't gamers, they're programmers. You know, and because of that, their attitude is put it in front of me and I'll program it. You know, so it's like the gaming industry is a horrible industry. You know, the gaming industry is a horrible industry. What is that? Jesus Christ. Taking a dump stank. Hold on a second. Damn, this girl's hitting me up now. You know, so, I mean, look, at the end of the day, you got the FGC crying about racism, which you're not stopping. And, you know, contrary to belief, it's not Trump's fault. The people of Daytona were racist before Trump got voted. No, what am I Googling? Damn. What am I saying? What am I Googling? A lot of outsource. I didn't even see. No, I wasn't Googling. I was looking at Twitter for a second. You know, but it's like, you know, you're not going to change racism. You know, I was talking to a guy I work with today about this whole, CEO thing. Now, this guy's not really a gamer. He's just a guy I work with. And I said, the only way you ever wipe out racism is if you wipe out money. You know, money is the root of all evil, but we all want it. We all need it. We all, you know, I tell everybody that says, oh, man, it's all about love. Yeah, all right, well, send the phone company a card saying, Dear Verizon or Dear AT&T, I love you, and see if they don't turn your fucking phone off when you don't pay the bill. You know, but at the end of the day, you know, money builds classes, upper class, lower class, middle class, all that other bullshit. And with that, that's what separates us, and that separation is also divided by race. And it makes a lot of bitter people. And racism is horrible, but it's life. You know, it's just life. You know, and you're not going to change it. And you're left with one of two choices: push back at it, or do like the FGC did, tuck your tail between your legs, say anybody that says you should fight is fucking crazy, and cry to a TO who's not going to be able to do nothing. But you want to know something? When you stop going to events, racism's still going to be knocking on your door every fucking day. And if you just sit there and allow it, that's basically what you're going to get. What is that? I didn't even notice that. Really? Damn. Damn, I can't believe I fucking didn't even notice that. Alright. You know, what is that? Holy shit, it's disgusting low. I Googled it and I had... What are you looking at? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Fantasy-based sex toys. James, Fright Night wants you to Google Bad Dragon. Bad Dragon. Okay, let's see what Bad Dragon is. Dragon my nuts. Alright, let's see what we got. Bad Dragon. I don't need to see dildos, and I can already see Bad Dragon Enterprise Inc. is an American manufacturer of fantasy-themed sex toys. Oh dear. I really don't need that, but I'm just going to give it one shot. Yeah, no, that's it. We're done. That's about it. Yeah, we're done. I don't appreciate it. Yeah, I'm good, man. I mean, I'm cool, man. It's whatever. Not my cup of tea. I mean, you want to stick things in your ass, stick things in your ass. Only things come out my ass, not go in. Just saying. I just question how some of these kids in the community have been to so many events and never experienced. Do you want to know something? Daytona is not even the most racist city that events have been in. You know, Chicago. I mean, guys, Chicago? Kids are dying all over the fucking place. Nobody complained about that. It was just, and I was just going to say, it was the fact that they saw the Confederate flag that set them off. I think at the end of the day, it was all about the flag. You know, listen, it's a fucking flag I don't like. I don't have one fucking, I was a Union guy, so, but, you know, you got streets in Los Angeles that you can't walk down. You got streets in Philadelphia that you can't walk down. You got streets in Chicago you can't walk down. You got streets everywhere you can't walk down. But because, you know, it was so blatant, all of a sudden it was a problem. And that's the part that kind of blows my mind. You know, now I had certain people, like I had All Caps coming on here tonight, but he just got home from fucking from work after red eyeing it to from Florida to work, and he said nobody fucked with him. So let me ask you a question. He walked all over the place. He said Andy walked alone and nobody fucked with him. Why did nobody fuck with him but people got fucked with? And from the amount of people that had made these stories and brought them to light, mentioned these stories and brought them to light, like literally from the way it sounded, like every fourth black guy got fucked with at the event, from the way these stories sound. So maybe Caps just looks the role of don't fuck with me. You know, and that's where I'm kind of like, all right, no, maybe people need to be more street smart. Exactly. If you look, listen, and again, people, had messaged me saying like, well, I just want to be me. Well, if you're weak, that's what you are. That's what you get. And it sucks to say it because it sounds like I'm being mean. If you're a pussy, you're a pussy. I can't do nothing for you. Listen, I'll tell you how to break a guy's nose in one shot. One of two ways. One that you kill him and the other one you break it. But you need to be able to swing. And you can't turn around and expect other people to come and fight your battles. And if not CEO, when you decide to take a trip from Ohio with your girl or your boyfriend or whatever to visit New York City, what you going to do when a motherfucker rolls up on you on the street? Are you going to fucking look for the police? Sometimes you got to handle your shit on your own. And the world sucks. That's it. But you got to deal with it and not cry about it. Oh yeah, you're going to get targeted. Absolutely. You're absolutely going to get targeted if you walk around like you're fucking, like an anime guy. And again, it sucks. It's not, this isn't me, and this is what I want people to understand. This isn't me saying, well, you deserve it. You don't. But what you do deserve is a dose of reality, which is you got to turn around and fucking defend yourself. Listen, growing up in New York, there was like 3 or 4 different types of gay guys. All right, gay guy number 1, totally feministic, looking like a Barbie doll. Then you had the dirty gay, as I call him, slovenly, grown beard, might not sound feministic, just like a fucking sloth, but he was gay. And then you had the third one. And the third one was the motherfucker went to the gym every day. He was fucking cock diesel, and he will fuck you up. But he was gay. Those were the 3 groups of gay guys that I've encountered in New York City. And when, in the 80s, when that whole gay bashing shit was going on, more of those guys were going to the gym and juicing up. Juicing up, getting diesel, and fucking people up because they were like, yo, when I walk in the city, I ain't letting no motherfucker take advantage of me. And they started beating the piss and shit out of people. So the gay bashing slowly stopped in the village because the weaker ones had the juiced out ones fucking whooping the shit out of people. And you can't look for those guys now because those guys that used to be like that are now 60 years old, 70 years old, and they don't want to do shit for you. They're done fighting the fight. They're comfortable with who they are and they just do their thing. But the FGC, if that's a fear you genuinely have, then maybe, oh yeah, yo, dude, let me tell you something. Juiced out gays are scary shit, dude. I mean, and especially, listen, y'all Chicago dudes, You know, I'm going to mention this one in a minute. Hold on. All right. So, I guess about Obama pushed the gay LGBT LSD LMNOP QRS TUV month. I think is that what, February? No, February's Black Month. Whatever. He had the month that he designated for gays. So I had a friend from Chicago. Known him for 20 years. I don't have a gaydar. I don't know if he's gay. I didn't know who's gay, who's straight. So I turn around and, you know, I got him on Facebook. And he's from Chicago. And he you know, for the month he put the rainbow flag up. And you know, he supports the gays or whatever. And I was like, cool, whatever. And then, being that he was from Chicago, I thought he was a Chicago, you know, for baseball, he was a Chicago Cub fan. And for football, he was a Chicago Bear fan. Oh, apparently in the gay community, there's a whole thing about Bears and Cubs, which are big, burly dudes with beards and the whole fucking, you know, Papa Bear and Baby Bears, some shit like that. And I started to realize the dude was gay. And I had no idea. So I called him up and I'm like, yo, dude, you're gay. And he goes, you didn't know? I go, I had no idea. I said, you're from Chicago. You're always talking about the Bears and the Cubs and all this other weird shit. I said, I thought you were talking about the football and baseball team from Chicago. And he goes, no, I've been, you know, I came out like last year. He goes, what, you got a problem with it? Like, that's the type, and he's another one. He's a big motherfucker. And he's like, what, you got a problem with it? And I'm like, no, I just kind of had no idea. I said, I just find it funny that you're talking about Bears and Cubs, and you're talking about the sports teams from Chicago, and you're actually talking about, you know, within the community. So, you know, you know what? The signs were there, though. And you're right. The signs were there because then, like, after that, I had gone through, like, his friend list, and, like, there was, like, one girl, and everybody else was big, burly, with beards. And I was like, oh, shit. I said, damn, man, I had no idea you were gay. You know, but, you know, it's just because you're gay doesn't mean you got to be a pussy. What's up? Sorry, I'm white. Just because you're gay doesn't mean you have to be a pussy. You can be as feministic as you are, but that's gouge your motherfucker's eyes out. Listen. I don't promote violence, but I preach violence. You know, that's the difference. I'm not telling you to go out and go beat motherfuckers up, but don't let a motherfucker beat you up either. You know, and you know, in the FGC, due to the lack of social skills, you know, due to the lack of social skills, you know, people are more apt to try and avoid the problem, but eventually you come to a point in your life where you can't avoid it no more, and you need to be ready for that. You know, and it sounds like a dire, you know, Terminator 2, world coming to an end thing, but at the end of the day, listen, you can avoid a fight forever, but forever is a long time. Eventually you wind up getting into a fight if you put yourself in a situation. The fact that you've escaped this long without having to defend yourself, we're in changing times. Listen, dude, I'm dead serious. Like, Yo, I think there's going to be a civil war in this country. Absolutely not. Yo, if you got into a fight, as long as you weren't a bully, shit, you ain't getting punished. Shit, I'll take you out for ice cream. You want Carvel? Oh, yeah, you beat a bully up? You go to Carvel. You know, so I just don't want, like, I don't want to hear the story of a guy getting beat up in the FGC. As much as I can't stand a lot of people, I don't want people, like, listen, I don't hate, like I said, I don't hate Alex Jabali. I have no issue with him. I don't want his business to fail. Yeah, but you want to know something? Listen, there was a video I had seen of this young black chick that got pulled over. And in the video, it was like 20 cop cars. They pull her over. And, of course, everybody and their mother is on the video are like, yo, this is fucking bullshit. It's because she's a black chick. Look, she's a nice, pretty-looking girl. They're just harassing her. And they're all, like, trying to throw this whole anti-cop thing out. And then you read fucking the article, and they're like, woman stabs her child to death. And you're arguing, and it's like, you know, and it's like, no, it was a different one. And it's like, but people automatically jump to it. And yeah, cops selling water. Then there was the other one that I saw where the fucking dude pushes the kid. You know, and it's like, yeah, well, drama's notorious. Drama happens at every event. There's meth in the air. They got that fucking bath salts over there, too. You know, but it was like, you know, everybody jumped the gun and said, like, these cops are being racist, and it wound up being the girl stabbed her own kid. And I'm going, yeah, maybe you should think twice. Don't just assume cops are being dead. Listen, I'm not a cop fan at all. Trust me on that. But, you know, that's where I say get the whole picture. You know, and that's what it is. The cops are trying to, media is trying to keep that distrust. You know, listen, at the end of the day, I mean, I can't use where you come from as an example, but, you know, in New York, every guy that I know is a cop, that I know, doesn't get up in the morning to do a 4 to 12, and the first thing he says is, I'm going to go get some black people. He just wants to get fucking his paycheck and go home. The least he has to do, the better for him. You know, yeah, you're going to get the young guys that want to be the showboats, but most cops just want to get a fucking paycheck. You know, and that's something that, you know, of course, when you go to some of these redneck areas and shit, you know, I've seen black cops fuck people up for no reason. And I didn't see the screaming. Not Chicago. See, Chicago, I don't know. Chicago on that New Orleans, like, corrupt level of shit. You know, I mean, yeah, Chicago be having some funky cops there. I ain't gonna deny that. But yo, I mean, you got a corrupt mayor too. Listen, I'm not a friend of cops either, trust me. I used to tell all my friends that are cops, best cop is a dead cop. But, you know, it's like, majority of them that I know from my experience are just trying to get a fucking pension. Well, Chicago cops, that's one of the reasons I never moved to Chicago was you got too many stop signs and too many cops. You know, but yeah, I definitely can side with, you know, certain areas. I gotta say, this Milwaukee cops are fucked up. See, Milwaukee's fucked up. Like a lot of the areas are fucked up. Now, one of the things, like, I'll listen to somebody. I'll listen to a Spanish guy. I'll listen to a black guy talk about their experiences, and I've had the same experiences with white cops. You know, because I tell everybody, look, you gotta remember, I grew up in the white trash capital of the world. You know, so for me, it was like they fucked with me too. And people say, oh, it's different. No, it's not. You know, cops are pretty much dicks. Even the guys that I grew up with that are still trying to get paychecks, they're dicks. They were dicks in high school, and they were dicks fucking when they became cops. And I've seen how they reacted to people, whether it's, people of minorities or even white people. They're just dicks. But, again, at the end, they would rather have a day of doing nothing and getting paid for it versus going out and harassing people. But all this other shit, like, when you become a detective is when I think they become the most fucked up. When you become plainclothes or undercover, that's when you become fucked up. Oh, man. I mean, I don't know. Chicago is a different can of worms, especially with the... I mean, listen, the gun violence shit, that happens is the quote-unquote, and people say, oh, shut up about the black-on-black crime. Well, to what point? Like, you look at Chicago and you look at the rate of people, Mr. Rahm Emanuel ain't doing shit for you guys. And you're hearing, like, every other day a little 9-year-old kid shot in the crossfire, or not even, like I just think motherfuckers in Chicago shoot a gun up in the air and walk away, not realizing, well, the bullet eventually comes down, or just blindly shoots it in the air and says wherever it goes, it goes. Like, I don't understand how many fucking people are dying with gun violence. But again, it's like I told Tweety, when they called him Twinkie Man, I told him, lose the fucking weight, you took the bullets out the gun. Take the bullets out the gun don't do nothing. Yeah, I don't understand that, ACOC. They just shoot it and walk away, and it's like, what the fuck, dudes? You're reading the paper, a kid 9 years old shot and killed on the 13th floor, and you're like, how did that happen? You say it was a drive-by. Said you're on a car on the ground floor. How does somebody die fucking 13 floors, 15 floors up? And that's the thing about Chicago. It's like, listen, last time I was in Chicago was maybe like 2009? No. Yeah, maybe 2009, 2010. And back then they were telling me, well, don't go up this street, don't go up this street. And I'm going, really? Chicago? I mean, like, you knew about, like, North Side. I knew the areas that were bad, but the areas expanded, apparently. And I was like, yo, and then all this, like I said, then you started hearing about all this gun violence shit. And I'm going, damn, so it's like you're dodging bullets on these streets. That's kind of crazy. I mean, California, you don't hear about it as much, but pretty much, I mean, I want to say every day a kid gets shot and killed in Chicago. I mean, let me Google it today. Let's see. Let me Google it right now. Alright, so what do we got for Chicago? Let's see. Return to site. In Chicago, 244 people have been killed this year. That's 97 fewer than 2017. So the number's down. So homicides tend to peak in the summer months, on the weekends, and during late hours. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the numbers, and it looks like May, June, July. They say July is the highest, the highest amount of deaths in Chicago, and usually Saturdays, between the hours of 12 a.m. and 6 a.m. is it 12 a.m. and 6? No, actually, 6 p.m. to 12 a.m. is the highest point of death. For last year, 501 shooting deaths, 27 stabbing deaths, 21 unknown, 12 other. I don't know what other is. Other represents 1% of each homicide. Oh, okay. Including vehicular, thrown from auto, trauma, strangulation, beaten, stabbed, and child abuse. And assault, 9, and beaten. So 8 people were beaten to death in Chicago last year. Shootings is 501. Where the homicides happen the most, let's see where we got. Most of the homicides are south and west side of Chicago. Northwest side is the most. And the victim ages, black, 400. All right, so out of the 500 and something people that have died, 428 are black. Well, this number can't be right. How many was it that they said died? 501. Yeah, that number. This chart is a little skewed. They say 428 black deaths versus 65 Hispanic, 46 white, 37 not known, 1 black Hispanic, and 1 Asian. Black, not Hispanic. Alright, so let's see. Alright, so the last homicide. Wow, this fucking site that I just found is actually pretty cool because it breaks it down. The last homicide was a black male named Dean Tate Nishonlit Lejon, 32-year-old male, killed at 4:58 on July 1st. The next one was June 28th. The next one was June 25th. The 24th was two guys on the 24th, 1 guy on the 23rd, 1 on the 18th, 2 on the 18th, 3 on the 18th, 2 on the 17th of June. Like, just in a month. Just in the month of June, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 deaths in July to gun violence. But yet, and I said this with this rapper kid, XXX Tensionis, or whatever his name is, the kid that got shot up, and a lot of the people in the gay community were like, yeah, good, he got what he deserved. Listen, he was a 20-year-old kid. Yeah, he was a piece of shit. He did some stupid shit. He beat his girl. You know, he beat his girl. He beat a gay guy in jail. Certainly not a role model. Nah, New York is nowhere near that, dude. Let me see. I'll tell you right now. Let me see what New York gun violence stats. Believe it or not, Fright Night, it says right here, New York has the third lowest rate of gun deaths. New York has the nation's third lowest rate of gun deaths amongst 50 states. Oh, that's the whole state. New York City. Let me put in the city. Yeah, see, I don't know why they're not bringing... Oh, it's crime in the city of New York. Let's see. 2000s. See, we were bad in the 70s. And now listen, I'm not defending the guy, but wishing him death and saying he deserved it, that's the part of it that kind of got me like, I don't like the guy, I don't know the guy, he sounded like a real piece of crap, but then I also seen him trying to straighten out, I thought. Alright, so New York City, homicide 3.4, what? Violent crime. Yeah, I think upstate has more crime. High profile murders. I mean, we got more high profile murders. What do we got? They're not showing fucking de Blasio, fucking loser piece of shit. Broken window theory. What the fuck is that? I like broken window theory is a criminal norm setting, signaling urban disorder, vandalism, dissident crime, antisocial behavior. Here we go. Murders by year. Last year we had 290 murders in New York City, and that's 4 boroughs. New York City major crime falls to record low. So last year was 290, but 2016 was 335. Our worst year was 1990. Wow, 1990. How the fuck is that? What is that? C note. What is that for? What would it take to get New York City's murder rate to 0? Our lowest rate ever was, let's see, our lowest murder rate. Yeah, we got some fucking high ones. Our highest one was 2,000 in a year. 2,245 in a year. But last year we were at 335. But I want to see what the hell happened here. That was 2,000 murders. $1990, the highest total to date. Yeah, so 1990 was the highest murder rate. That's 4 boroughs. Staten Island, 5 boroughs. Staten Island's counted. That's all of New York City. But last year we had 290 total. So, you know, we're getting more peacenik-like. Gang wars in the 60s, Harlem, Chinatown, broken window theory, yeah, so, yeah, we're not that bad when it comes to the murder in New York. But, you know, I just don't understand, like I said, what I was talking about was the whole Extensionis or whatever the fuck his name is, and then, you know, the crime with the Chicago black on black crime. I don't understand, like if I was a black man, for example, like, why does it seem like, okay, when it's a school shooting, it's a bunch of white kids, you know, that get shot up. All of a sudden, it's splashed all over all the news channels. Trump is a monster. Everybody's fucked up, except when black kids get murdered at a rate, like just using Chicago as an example, ain't nobody saying shit. You know, nobody says shit. And that's the part of it that kind of like irks me, because it's like, this kid got killed regardless to how much of a piece of shit he was. And rather than say being kids, they deserve it. But then the minute a fucking white school gets shot up, all of a sudden, let's have boycotts and peace fests and fucking pray-ins and all this other shit. And it's like, I don't know. If I was a black man, I'd be a fucking Republican. You know, I don't want the government in my shit. I don't want you fucking with me. I don't want you fucking stealing my shit. Just leave me the fuck alone and don't shoot me. And then drive like an angel. And if I have to get my windows tinted to make me look like a white driver so I don't get pulled over, so be it. You know, and it's like, you know, now it's to the point where gun violence is only a problem when it's a white school. And this is coming from a white guy. You know, now, granted, I ain't never seen a school shooting like this. I think it was Miami. Was it not Miami? Where was he shot, Ashna? You know, it's you know, Broward County. Yeah. But you know, it's like I don't know, man. Listen, I'm a white guy. Sorry, you know, I'm not sorry for being white, you know, but I'm sorry people got to go through some fucked up shit. But, you know, you can only offer somebody so much help. You know, I tell people, you know, like I said, I told people, you stop being pussies and stand up for yourselves. Oh, well, that's stupid because, you know, I don't want to get in trouble. Well, then don't bitch about the fact that people fuck with you. You know, and then they don't fuck with you at that point. But don't go on social media and cry about it and then do nothing about it on top of it. I expect somebody like Jeb Bailey to, I don't know what you expect. That's the bad. What do you think this guy's going to be able to do? He's locked in. You know, Daytona's just a rundown town. That's it. You know, and that's the thing. It's a rundown town. It's a town that's only good for the Daytona 500, and that's it. But anyway, guys, it's 4 o'clock in the fucking morning. Ended up going to a cigar shop that I know the owner. See, that's you know people though. You know, you got to remember these guys with their antisocial gene running rampant. They don't float around. Like, listen, every town I go to, you know, every town that I go to, I make a friend somewhere. You know, whether it's a bar, a fucking at the liquor store, somewhere I make a friend. Yeah, first tweets with Daytona and CEO, amazing, best everything, and then the FGC, and then the FGC got a taste of reality, and it was, event is great, but what a bunch of redneck racists. Yeah, and hey, look, it is what it is. Day 2, Daytona is scum, most racist place ever. Somewhere alcohol is available to purchase. That's all you need. If there's booze around, then that's it. I'll make a friend there. Anyway, guys, listen, I gotta fucking get some sleep. It's 4 o'clock. I'm gonna start working on stuff. I want to start putting shit together to start doing more episodes. I do want to. I've reached out to like the original Mortal Kombat guys as far as the scene goes, and I'm gonna try to get them on. And I want to talk about like the MK scene and how it really began. You know, I see a bunch of guys putting out videos about like their version of how the scene began, and I know this: none of them were around when the scene began. Every video I've seen, none of them were around. They're like second and third generation Mortal Kombat scene. So I want to put that together. I've been talking to a lot of the original guys that were part of the scene back in the IRC days, and I'm going to try to get them on. I mean, you got McCarran over in Chicago, a couple other guys in Chicago that I'm going to grab. Basically, it's just going to be a shoot the shit. You're going to have combat. By the way, I wouldn't normally shill for anything, but it looks like Twitch is trying to give away 21 PC games a month. Yeah, we're going to be rebooting OBS. We're going to reboot it. See, you know, it's funny because I don't know about any of that shit. Like, again, some guys gave me some Bitcoins or some shit. What am I supposed to do with these? I don't even know. Can I gift a sub? Yeah, I gotta fuck with that. You know, I mean, it's. Let me see what the fuck. It's a lot of shit I gotta fuck with, dude. Buy hookers online. I'm cool with that. I'm always cool with hookers. If people cheer, it pretty much goes. It collects for like 2 months. Yeah, I gotta fuck with that shit. Yeah, I honestly, like I said, I honestly don't know how any of that shit works. I've been so detached from it that I'm gonna start fucking with it. My boy Bowman been fucking. My boy Bowman has been helping me out with fucking getting shit set up. And also in the Discord, you know, they got the Discord going. I think if we get 200K Bitcoin in two to 3 years. If you're going to make another run, then the feds come in and uncork the big dick. Wow, damn, man. Anyway, guys, I gotta fucking wrap this up. I gotta get some sleep. I'm fucking tired. I'll definitely keep you guys up to what's going on. Link me up to the OBS Discord. Bowman, you still in here? Where is it? He had it. There you go. Butte. Yeah, TK, I'm actually wrapping it up. Later, later, Ashna. Later, guys. Later, fucking Fright Night. And I'll definitely hit you guys up. But my ass has got to get some fucking sleep, yo. So peace.
Themselves apart. Your death leads to sudden death. destroy